After thinking about it, he decided to go in and take a look. As soon as he walked to the door, he heard Wan Qiqi say, Lu Yi and I have prepared some home-cooked dishes tomorrow night, and invite Uncle Emo and Mom to have a wedding drink. I will definitely go. Congratulations to you. Emo Qiufeng was very happy. He was really happy for Lu Yi. After this child got together with Wan Qiqi, his hostility has disappeared a lot, and he will definitely get better and better in the future. Yuan Huilan's face didn't look very good. She didn't say she would go, nor did she say she wouldn't go.
She still opposed this marriage.
Lu Disheng frowned when he heard it at the door, and his heart was even more unbalanced. Why didn't they quarrel? Why didn't these two rebellious sons be weird? And there were red envelopes. Why didn't they want them? Cough, cough. Lu Disheng became more and more angry as he thought about it. He couldn't help but push open the door and coughed hard a few times. When Yuan Huilan saw him, her face became even uglier. She rolled her eyes and questioned, What are you doing here? I'm looking for Lao Emo, not you. Don't be so self-indulgent. Lu Disheng snorted coldly. He and this woman could never get along peacefully. They would quarrel whenever they met. Huilan, go make tea. Emo Qiufeng quickly sent his wife away to avoid a fight. He couldn't understand how these two people, who were incompatible with each other, could have fallen in love with each other and given birth to Lu Yi. Yuan Huilan went to make tea with a stern face. Lu Disheng sat down by himself and deliberately asked, Xiao Yi, have you told your Uncle Emo about your promotion? Xiao Yi got promoted?
Montag Qiufeng war surprised.
He really didn't know about it. Yes, Xiao Yi has made meritorious service. The General Military Region promoted him directly. The document will be issued next month. Xiao Yi, why didn't you tell your Uncle Emo about such a good thing? Your Uncle Emo must be happy for you like me, and your mother must be as happy as your Aunt Lin, and will give you a big red envelope. Lu Disheng is a straightforward person. It is really difficult for him to be sarcastic. He speaks bluntly and directly. Fortunately, with Wan Qiqi's training during this period, Lu Disheng has learned something. After a while of being sarcastic, he saw Yuan Huilan's stiff expression, and he was very proud. He also squinted at Emo Qiufeng with a very provocative look. Emo Qiufeng laughed in silence. He was just saying, Lu Disheng hasn't been to his house for 800 years. Why did he come to visit today? It turns out that she is here to ask for a red envelope. He glanced at Wan Qiqi and understood that this girl must have made a scene at Lu's house just now, and Lu Disheng lost a lot of blood. He was so anxious that he ran to him to find balance. Huilan, Xiaoya has been promoted. Let's give him the big red envelope to celebrate. Yuan Huilan stood beside her with a cup of tea, and Emo Qiufeng smiled at her and said, Wasn't he suppressed by someone? How did he get promoted again? Yuan Huilan put down the teacup and glared at Lu Disheng when she mentioned someone. The brainless old man was blown crazy by the pillow wind of Lin Manyun. It was obvious that her son could be promoted, but he was suppressed. A fool who is stupid enough to enter a museum. Lu Disheng's face darkened, and he clenched his teeth. This stupid woman is here again. The reason why he suppressed Xiaoya's promotion last time was because there were gossips below that he was partial to his own son and only promoted him. If he didn't make a statement, the gossip would get more and more intense, which would not only affect Lu Ye's career, but also him. After discussing with Emo Qiufeng, he decided not to promote him this time and would raise the issue later. This stupid woman's head is just a decoration, without any brains. He was just bewitched and dazzled by this pretty face. Otherwise, even if he was still single, he would not marry this stupid woman. You women don't understand. Work matters. I'm talking to Lao Emo. Don't interrupt. Lu Disheng was angry and spoke with a little anger. He didn't want to talk to Yuan Huilan at all, and even one word was too much. How are women worse than you? Lu Disheng, I graduated from a girls' high school. How many years did you study? Do you know a lot of words? Do you still look down on women? You are so capable. Why did you have to be born from a woman's belly? Why don't you learn from Sun Wukong and jump out of a stone? Yuan Huilan was furious. The reason why she joined the revolution was because her family was particularly patriarchal. Her father wanted to marry her to an old man as old as her father as a concubine. She couldn't resist, so she had to run away secretly and join the revolution by chance. What she hated most was that men said that you women don't understand, but Mo Chiufeng never said that, and respected women. You're just making a fuss, Yuan Huilan. I won't argue with you. I'll talk to Lao Mo. Lu Disheng was so angry that his face turned black, but he claimed to be a man, and it was embarrassing to quarrel with a woman, so he used Mo Chiufeng as an excuse. In fact, he didn't want to talk to Mo Chiufeng at all. Dad, your attitude is quite problematic. The chairman has said that women can hold up half the sky. You look down on female comrades in your words and deeds. Your consciousness is a bit low. Although Wan Qiqi doesn't like Yuan Huilan, she stands on Yuan Huilan's side on this matter. Yuan Huilan glanced at her, a little surprised. She didn't expect that this rural girl had a high level of ideological consciousness. She didn't get crazy and spoke in a flowery way. Obviously, she had some knowledge. The chairman is such a great man. He said that women can hold up half the sky. What right do you have to say that women can't do it, Lu Disheng? Only people like Lin Manyan can tolerate a stupid and arrogant man like you. If you change to a woman with a little bit of thought, who can live with you? Yuan Huilan's tongue is still very sharp. After all, she used to be a propaganda officer in the army and has a set of words. What's in your head? Yuan Huilan, don't be so conceited. With your wooden brain, a 3-year-old child is smarter than you. Do you think I want to live with you? You were the one who insisted on marrying me back then. Don't show off your girls' high school in front of me. What's wrong with girls' high school? Girls' high school can't save your stupid brain. Lu Disheng was almost furious. He glared at Wan Qiqi and went back to settle accounts with this dead girl. She actually helped Yuan Huilan deal with him. She really didn't know the inside from the outside. When dealing with Yuan Huilan, Lu Disheng's mouth was like a blessing, at least 3 times faster, and his vocabulary increased several times, not losing out at all. I was blind back then, so I was so confused as to marry a good-for-nothing like you. Fortunately, I turned around and married Lao Mo compared to you. Lao Mo is the bright moon in the sky, and you are just a worthless person in the stinking ditch. What about the bright moon in the sky? You are just the free babysitter that Mo Chiufeng found. You take care of his 2 sons wholeheartedly, but you don't care about your own son. Xiaoye is starving and crying.
You still have the nerve to say that.
When did I starve Xiaoye? Lu Disheng, don't spit blood on me. Before you say anything about me, wipe your own ace first. Why don't you care about the in your family who abuses Xiaoye? You are Xiaoye's biological father, and you are helping the tyrant. How dare you shout in front of me? Before you say anything about me, punish Lin Manyan first. When did Lin Manyan abuse Xiaoye? Don't talk nonsense, Yuan Huilan. I'm too lazy to argue with you. Mo Chiufeng, take care of your stupid guest. If you me off, I won't be polite. How do you want to be rude? Are you at a loss for words? You have nothing to say when it comes to Lin Manyan. Lu Disheng, you are as clear as a mirror in your heart. You just don't care. Xiaoye has you as a father. It's really unlucky for 8 lifetimes. This former couple is now like an enemy, exposing each other's shortcomings. In their mouths, Lu Yi has been mentioned many times. Lu Ye's face is getting uglier and uglier, and the pressure on his body is very low. It turns out that he is not doing well, and his parents know it, but they didn't reach out to help him but chose to ignore it. Now we are a family. Let me vent your anger for you. Wan Qiqi patted him gently a few times and comforted him softly. Lu Ye's anger was so strong that it was about to overflow. If she didn't coax him, this guy would probably go crazy. The evil spirit on Lu Yi disappeared instantly. He looked up and smiled at Wan Qiqi, indicating that he was fine. Qiqi was right. Now Qiqi was his closest person. He was no longer alone. Whether it was Lu Disheng or Yuan Huilan, he no longer wanted their love. In the future, he only wanted their money. Old Lu Huilan. Mo Chiufeng frowned and scolded coldly. These 2 people were too ignorant. How could they say those words in front of the child? It was too hurtful for the child. No wonder Lu Ye's emotions became more and more unstable. It was too difficult for the child to have such a pair of parents. The two people who had been arguing anxiously finally calmed down and remembered what they had just said. Both of them looked very annoyed and then glared at each other, thinking that it was all the other's fault. My son Lu Yi is so unlucky to have parents like you. Since you don't like each other, please tighten your belts and don't give birth to the child. If the belts are not tied tightly, you don't want to take care of the child after it is born. You shirk the responsibility to each other, causing Lu Yi to support himself since he was 2 years old. He went to the mountains to find wild fruits to eat, and he ate so many poisonous fruits. He didn't die of poison or starvation because of his own efforts, but it can't reduce your sins. You are really a pair of cruel parents. Wan Qiqi frowned and spoke in a cold voice. She really felt sorry for Lu Yi. The parents were a couple with grievances, and the child they gave birth to became a burden to them. You don't care, and I don't care either. If Lu Yi hadn't had an adventure, he would definitely not grow up. Xiao Yi ate the poisonous fruit? Is he okay? Mo Qiufeng's tone was very concerned. Wan Qiqi had just said, regarding the matter of Lu Yi, he won't die for now, but there are too many toxins accumulated in his body. He might explode at any time. Wan Qiqi had a wooden face, deliberately exaggerated a little, and even winked at Lu Yi. Lu Yi was stunned for a moment, then immediately covered his mouth and coughed weakly a few times. Lu Disheng and Yuan Huilan were too busy arguing to care about it anymore. They said in unison, "Have you been to the hospital for a checkup? What did the doctor say? How would you know he was poisoned if you didn't check?" Lu Yi often has headaches, chest tightness, and cramps in his hands and feet. He has been like this since he was a child. If you had cared about him a little, you would have noticed these symptoms. If you had taken him to the hospital for a checkup earlier, the poison in his body would have been cleared long ago. Wan Qiqi looked sarcastic. It was useless to pretend to care about her now. Lu Disheng and Yuan Huilan both looked embarrassed, and they rarely showed a hint of guilt. Cough, cough, cough. Lu Yi cooperated by coughing a few times and lowering his head, looking particularly weak. In fact, he was trying to hold back his laughter because he didn't have any of the symptoms that Qiqi described. Mo Qiufeng spoke at the right time. "I know a very good old Chinese doctor. I'll take Xiao Yi to see him next time." "No, you didn't care about me before, and you don't need to care about me now." Lu Yi refused with a cold face, as he was afraid of being exposed. He is stronger than an ox, and his pulse is completely exposed. "Xiao Yi, you can't hide your illness and avoid seeing a doctor. We didn't fulfill our responsibilities in the past. Now you have to give us a chance to make up for it, right?"
Montag Qiufeng advisit patiently.
He was really worried. Although Lu Yi is not his biological son, he has raised him for a period of time. He still feels sorry for the child and hopes that he will be well. "Yes, your mother and I know we were wrong, and we will definitely make amends in the future." Lu Disheng also softened his voice. It was the first time he didn't yell at his son. His eyes were a little red, and his face was full of guilt, which made Lu Yi feel disgusted. He was more accustomed to the old man's gloomy face and scolding, but now seeing this dead look made him feel uncomfortable and uneasy all over. The future is too far away. Let's seize the present moment. "Mom, are you still going to give me the red envelope?" Wan Qiqi interrupted and changed the subject. The guilt and sadness in the air were instantly washed away by these words. Yuan Huilan looked at her with difficulty. The little good impression she had just had was now gone. As expected, she is still that vulgar country girl who doesn't know any etiquette. How could she ask for a red envelope on her own initiative? Although Yuan Huilan was dissatisfied, she still felt a little guilty towards Lu Yi, so she went back to her room, wrapped a red envelope, and handed it to Lu Yi.
"It doesn't look that thick."
"The 50 yuan I just wrapped is obviously thicker than yours." Lu Disheng was speaking in a sarcastic tone beside him. "You have such good eyesight. How come you didn't see through Lin Manyun's fox skin?" Yuan Huilan snatched the red envelope back, said something harsh, ran back to her room, wrapped a new red envelope, and deliberately opened the red envelope in front of Lu Disheng to show him. "Look, 80 yuan, more than your 50. Did Lin Manyun take away all your salary? You can't even take out 80 yuan, right?" After mocking him, She stuffed the red envelope into Lu Ye's pocket and glared at Lu Disheng. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Uncle Mo. You must come to dinner tomorrow. Wan Chichi was very sweet-talking and thanked very sincerely. After all, the gift was real money. I will definitely go. Mo Chiufeng agreed with a smile. I'll go too. Lu Disheng roared. He was the biological father, and he absolutely could not let Mo Chiufeng steal the limelight. I'll go too. Yuan Huilan snorted coldly. She was her biological mother. Wan Chichi took out a bag from her bag, which was exactly the same as the one she gave to Lu Disheng, containing 10 each of millet rice cakes and mugwort rice cakes. Mom, Uncle Mo, this is a local specialty of my family. You can try it. I haven't eaten it for a long time. Thank you, Chichi. Mo Chiufeng said with a smile. Lu Disheng glanced at them and felt unbalanced again. There were actually the same number as him. He was their biological father, so there should be at least a few more, right? You're welcome, Uncle Mo, Dad, Mom, Lu Yi and I are going home.
Bye.
Wan Chichi pulled Lu Yi up and said goodbye. Tonight, which is pretty good. It's time to go back to sleep. Mo Chiufeng escorted them to the gate of the courtyard. Lu Disheng followed them out and said to Wan Chichi, Manzi talks about you every day. Commander Lu asked you to come to his house to play when you are free. Chichi knows Manzi? Mo Chiufeng was a little surprised, and there was a more exploring look in his eyes when he looked at Wan Chichi. The Lu family has a very special status in the compound. Although Mr. Lu has retired, his influence is still great, and his words carry weight. Many people in the compound wanted to curry favor with Grandpa Lu, but they couldn't even step into the Lu family's threshold. Grandpa Lu seemed amiable, but in fact he had clear boundaries. Especially now that the situation was complicated, the old man didn't want to get involved with either side, so he left the capital and returned to Tanzhou to retire. I didn't expect Wan Chichi to catch the old man as I. This girl is really lucky.
No.
Wan Chichi's expression was very calm. She was friends with Manzai purely because of Manzai himself, and it had nothing to do with his father. She also doesn't need to curry favor with Chief Lu. With her golden finger, she will definitely be able to thrive in this era without having to cling to anyone. Commander Lu is an old leader from Beijing. You should be careful with your words when you go there, Lu Disheng reminded. I'm going to play with Manzai. I have nothing to say to his father. And don't worry, Dad. I can definitely think of what you can think of, and I can also think of what you can't think of. You should pay more attention to yourself. Wan Chichi didn't give him any face. Instead of worrying about her, he might as well worry about his own backyard first. If this confused old man doesn't take care of the backyard, he will be pulled down by Lin Mannion sooner or later. Mo Chiufeng twitched his lips, with a smile in his eyes. After Wan Chichi and Lu Yi left, Lu Disheng said angrily, What does this girl mean? He said you were stupid, but you couldn't even hear that. You're really stupid as hell. Yuan Huilan leaned against the door frame, mocking and rolling her eyes. Lu Disheng gritted his teeth, suppressed his anger, and walked away with a sullen face. He was in a bad mood and didn't want to argue with this stupid woman. Thinking that Lu Yi had poison in his body, he felt very guilty and became more suspicious of Lin Mannion. He was busy with work and went out early and came back late every day, so he really had no time to take care of the children. But Lin Mannion was at home every day, so how come she didn't notice that Lu Yi was in poor health? Lu Disheng's expression turned cold, and he decided that the next time he went to Jiangqing for a meeting, he would transfer Jiefang to Qinghai Tibet and Yan Xicho to guard Kunlun Mountain, and he would work hard to wear down their pampered character. They would not be allowed to come back until they were completely worn down. Lu Yi and Wan Chichi slowly walked back to the family building. It was getting late, and most of the people outside had gone home, especially the children who were playing. They were all called back home by their parents to go to bed. Manzi, it's time to go home and sleep. You have to be good. Manzi, can you hear me? Are you feeling unwell? From the front. Although it was urgent, it was still gentle. Manzai, can you speak? Tell Daddy if you have anything to say. Has anyone bullied you? Asked Grandpa Lu. But no matter how the old couple asked, Manzai did not respond. Wan Chichi had an idea and walked towards the source of the sound. She saw Manzai standing there like a wooden stick. No matter what his parents said, he didn't even blink, but his eyes were anxious. The third update is finished. Good night, babies. Have a sweet dream. Uncle Lu, Mama Guan, what happened to Manzi? Lu Yi walked over and asked with concern. Wan Qiqi glanced at him. This old lady must be special in her man's heart. Manzai has been standing like this for an hour, not speaking or moving, and he gets angry when you pull him. Guan Jihua said helplessly. She felt very guilty and self-blaming towards her youngest son. If she had been more alert back then, she would not have been caught by the enemy, and her little son would not have suffered in jail with her. Before he fell ill, Manzai was very smart and cute. It was she who harmed Manzai. But she was still glad that Manzai was at least alive and happy in his own world, and that was enough. Xiaoyi, she's your girlfriend, Miss Qiqi, right? Grandpa Lu asked gently. Yes, you are my cousin now. Lu Yi couldn't hide his satisfaction and pride on his face. What a great thing. Xiaoya, you have your own home now. Guan Jihua was very pleased. Lu Yi chuckled and scratched the back of his head, looking a little silly. In front of Guan Jihua, he completely lost his thorns and became a simple and silly child. Wan Qiqi also greeted the two elders. She had heard from her original body that Guan Jihua was the best person to Lu Yi in the compound. When Lu Yi was a child, he was punished by Lin Manyun to stand outside. He was so hungry that he ate the grass in the flower bed. Guan Jihua saw him and called him home for dinner. From then on, Guan Jihua would call Lu Yi home for dinner every now and then and buy him clothes, shoes, and socks. That's why Lu Yi asked her to take care of her mother. Guan Jihua was the only ray of light in Lu Ye's life. However, Guan Jihua suffered too much in prison and her vitality was severely damaged, so her health was not good. A year later, this respectable old lady died of cancer. The old lady had lung cancer and had undergone surgery and chemotherapy, but the results were not very good. In the 1970s, China was far behind the international level in cancer treatment. Guan Jihua's death was a big blow to Lu Yi in his previous life. Cough, cough, cough. Guan Jihua coughed lightly a few times. She was very thin and looked very bad, but her eyes were still bright and her temperament was elegant. Lu Yi looked at her worriedly. He hadn't noticed it before, but now he realized that Guan's mother had lost a lot of weight and her hair had turned completely white. He felt very sad and was even more afraid that something might happen to Guan Jihua. Manzai, go home and sleep with Mom and Dad, okay? Guan Jihua's voice became gentler, but Manzai remained motionless, his eyes moving around. It was obvious that he wanted to speak, but was unwilling to open his mouth. What's wrong with the child? Should we go to the hospital for a checkup? Guan Jihua asked her husband worriedly. Mr. Lu thought the same thing. He planned to go back and call the orderly to drive his youngest son to the hospital. Wan Qiqi only observed for a while and had a rough idea in her mind, so she pulled Lu Yi over. Guan Jihua grabbed her husband and whispered, "Take another look." She had a hunch that Wan Qiqi could get her son to move. 1, 2, 3, we are all wooden men. Wan Qiqi suddenly called out, then walked forward. Lu Yi followed behind her, pulling Manzai with him. Manzai really moved and followed obediently. After walking a few steps, Wan Qiqi shouted loudly, "Don't talk or move." As soon as she finished speaking, she stood still. Lu Yi just raised his foot and stood in the posture of golden rooster, standing on one leg. Manzai is in a stepping walking posture, with his left hand in front, right hand behind, and his head slightly tilted to the side. The three of them stood in an awkward posture, not moving at all, and the atmosphere was a bit weird. Guan Jihua and Mr. Lu couldn't help laughing. So this was the reason. Wan Qiqi was such a smart girl. Achoo! Lu Yi sneezed loudly, and then his feet fell to the ground. Yeah, you moved, you lost. Manzai was very happy because he finally unlocked it. He shook his hands vigorously a few times and kicked his feet a few times to relieve the soreness in his body. He had been waiting for Xiao Mao and Xiao Ming to unlock the door, but they didn't come for a long time. He couldn't unlock it himself because that would be against the rules of the game. Yes, I lost. How should I be punished? Lu Yi readily admitted defeat and rubbed Manzai's arms.
The loser has to call me Dad 3 times.
Manzai said happily.
Dad, Dad, Dad.
Lu Yi didn't even beat him. He just shouted very straightforwardly. Manzi was so happy that he responded very cooperatively. Hey, hey, hey. Guan Jihua and Mr. Lu felt that something was not right. If Lu Disheng knew about this, he would definitely be angry, because he was a petty guy. But Manzai was so happy for so rare a time, and they didn't want to spoil his fun. Besides, it was late at night, so Lu Disheng probably wouldn't be able to hear it, right? Who are you calling Dad? I am your dad. Lu Disheng's angry voice rang out of nowhere. He was feeling depressed and didn't want to go home, so he wandered around nearby. He accidentally heard his own unfilial son calling someone else Dad so attentively. He was immediately furious. His rebellious son had never called him so caringly before, which made him so angry. Guan Jihua and Mr. Lu felt guilty for a rare time, and before Lu Disheng came over, they hid behind the camphor tree to avoid the embarrassment of facing each other. Yeah, I lost. You have to call me Daddy, Manzai explained very considerately. When Lu Disheng saw that it was him, his anger subsided, and he even forced a smile and corrected him. He should call you brother, not dad, understand? Call me Daddy. Call me brother. Just call me Daddy. Call me brother.
Dad.
Okay, Dad is Dad, whatever you say, Dad. Lu Disheng had no choice but to compromise. Why should he argue with a little kid? Just let him scream. No one else would hear him anyway.
Why?
Manzai responded loudly and reached out his hand, touching Lu Disheng's head lovingly a few times, just like he touched the big yellow dog at home. Lu Disheng's expression suddenly froze. He really wanted to beat up this jerk for taking advantage of him. But he couldn't do it because Manzai was a poor child. I won't argue with you, a kid. Lu Disheng gritted his teeth and walked away angrily, glaring at Lu Yi. He now suspected that it was this rebellious son who had taught Manzai to do such things and deliberately took advantage of him. He had only taken a few steps when he heard Lu Ye's unbridled laughter and Ron Chi-Chi's, these two rebellious people. Lu Disheng's face turned even darker and he returned home with gritted teeth. Guan Jihua and Mr. Lu came out from behind the tree and breathed a sigh of relief. They felt both sympathetic and amused about Lu Disheng's experience. Manzai, come home. The two elders greeted their son. Chi-Chi, when will you teach me to speak Shanghai dialect? Manzai asked. I'll come see you tomorrow. Wan Chi-Chi glanced at Guan Jihua. She had to find a way to send some targeted drugs to the old lady. There were some in the space pharmacy. Guan Jihua is a very important relative of Lu Yi and also a respectable and admirable revolutionary predecessor. She will help him both publicly and privately. I'll wait for you tomorrow. Goodbye, Chi-Chi. Goodbye, Ye. Manzai waved happily and followed his parents home. He is taller than his parents, but he walks in the middle, holding his mother's left hand and his father's right hand. The family of 3 walk slowly, and their backs are particularly warm. The next morning, Lu Yi accompanied Wan Chi-Chi to Lu's house and brought a dozen targeted drugs in an ordinary glass bottle. Wan Chi-Chi only said that this medicine could cure Guan Jihua's disease, but did not say where it came from, and Lu Yi did not ask. After arriving at Lu's house, Lu Yi took out the medicine and said directly, Mother Guan, this medicine is imported and will help your condition. Thank you, Xiaoya. How do I eat this? Guan Jihua didn't ask where the medicine came from, nor did she worry that there was anything wrong with the medicine. She trusted Lu Yi very much. Take 1 pill a day. After you finish these pills, see the effect. If you feel good, I will do it again.
Lu Yi said. Good.
Guan Jihua opened the medicine bottle neatly and took a pill.
She didn't want to die.
She couldn't let go of Manzai. If she could live 1 more day, she could take care of Manzai for 1 more day. Wan Chi-Chi was teaching Manzai to speak Shanghai dialect. She found that Manzai had a strong talent for languages and learned very quickly. She learned Shanghai dialect in a mental hospital and it took her 3 months to learn it, but Manzai was even faster and could learn it in just 1 month at most. As expected, people with brain problems are actually extremely smart. After all, stupid people have limited brain capacity, so they can't have any problems even if they wanna. After the housekeeper had lunch, they went out to buy groceries. They had to entertain their biological father and stepmother and their biological mother and stepfather in the evening, and they had to collect a few red envelopes, so they had to buy some decent dishes. You want a big red envelope, you have to pay some cost. Lu rode a bicycle and Wan Qiqi sat on the back. Now the roads in the city are all paved with asphalt. Although they look flat on the surface, it is still a bit bumpy to ride. It was like a 36V current was passing through, and his butt was numb. They were almost at the vegetable market. She changed her mind. 36V is a safe voltage. Let's go buy a bicycle first. You got a ticket? Lu Yi asked. He doesn't have any tickets on him at the moment, so he has to go get one. Yes, it was taken by the Sher family. Wan Qiqi took out 3 bicycle tickets from his pocket and waved them. Lu Yi smiled softly, tapped the ground with his toes, turned his head flexibly, and said, "Let's buy the best. It's a must." Wan Qiqi agreed very much. She had earned 180 yuan yesterday and could continue to earn money today. Money must be spent after it is earned. Bicycle tickets. The two arrived at the largest department store in the city. Lu Yi went to the toilet to urinate, while Wan Qiqi went straight to the bicycle counter. She immediately fell in love with a royal blue women's bicycle, which stood out among several other bicycles. In fact, she prefers light blue, but bicycles in this pink color are probably not produced now, so royal blue will do. Royal blue bicycle. The rest are black. The long road ahead is as hard as iron, but now we can start over. Comrade, I want to buy that blue bicycle. Wan Qiqi recited the quotations loudly. Now, every time she went out to do something, she had to recite a quotation. There was a very young female salesperson at the counter. She was pretty, but her butt was a bit heavy. Even though Wan Qiqi was screaming so loudly, her butt didn't leave the chair. She was still sitting lazily at one side. Her soft body formed a beautiful curve, and she smiled from time to time, as if she was thinking about love. Wan Qiqi had no intention of appreciating her pose. She felt that her body was more beautiful than this woman. All she wanted now was to buy a bicycle. Comrade, I want to buy a bicycle. Wan Qiqi shouted at the top of her voice, which could be heard throughout the entire floor. The waiters at other counters all raised their heads and looked over here. I heard you, I'm not deaf. Why are you shouting so loudly? The young salesman finally stood up, rolled his eyes, walked over with a sullen face, and asked rudely, "Do you have any tickets? Why would I buy a bike from you if I don't have a ticket? I want to buy that blue bike." Wan Qiqi took out a bicycle ticket and put it on the counter. "That one is not for sale. You can buy the other one." The saleswoman Sulina said in a firm tone that she was going to keep the bike for herself, but she hadn't gotten the ticket yet. However, her boyfriend said that he would take her home to meet his parents today, and her boyfriend's father was a commander, so a bicycle ticket was no big deal. Why not sell it? Wan Qiqi frowned, a little angry. The salesman has been provoking her crazy nature. In fact, she doesn't want to get crazy with a stranger at all. It's such a waste of time. If you don't want to sell it, then don't sell it. Why are there so many reasons? Except for this one. All the others are for sale. Which one do you want? Feeling guilty, Sulina became a little angry and humiliated. She had no right to intercept the merchandise on the counter. According to regulations, she would be punished for doing so. But many people in the mall did this, and the manager turned a blind eye. Besides, it was not like she was not paying, she was just a day or two late, which was not considered a violation of the rules. Sulina glared at Wan Qiqi angrily, thinking that she was so annoying, and it seemed like she didn't understand what she was saying. She had already said she didn't want to sell it, but she still asked all kinds of questions. I only want to buy this blue one. Since you put the car on the counter, it is a product for sale. I am a customer and I have a ticket. Why don't you sell it to me? Does your mall sell things based on the salesperson's mood? If the mood is good, then sell it, but if the mood is bad, then don't sell it? Or do the products in your mall also have menstrual periods? Don't sell it when the menstrual period comes? Wan Qiqi's expression was calm and her voice was soft, but her words were extremely impolite, and every word was heart-wrenching. How can you talk like that? Who has your period? I told you I won't sell it. Why are you making such a fuss? Sulina was both embarrassed and angry because she really had her period today. She felt that Wan Chichi was deliberately mocking her. This woman was so hateful. What's wrong? A young man in military uniform came over. He was about 175 centimeters tall and had a decent appearance. The uniform added to his appearance. As he walked over, he attracted the admiring glances of several young female customers. These looks made the man very proud. He held his head high and walked over with a smug look on his face. Sulina was very surprised to see him, and she instantly gained confidence. She pointed at Wan Chichi and said angrily, "She is the one who is making trouble and causing trouble on purpose. Comrade, this is a department store. If you make a fuss, you will be arrested and sent to labor reform. Get out of here." The young man looked at Wan Chichi with a hint of surprise in his eyes, and his tone became more polite. Sulina next to her was very dissatisfied. She hoped that her boyfriend would teach that Zich a lesson. "You are the person in charge of this mall? What right do you have to ask customers to leave?" Wan Chichi sneered. "What a pair of clueless idiots. Do you know who my boyfriend's father is? I advise you to be smart and get out of here, or else you won't be able to stay in Tanzhou City." Sulina was so arrogant that her hand almost poked Wan Chichi's eyes. She frowned and stretched out her hand to teach the woman a lesson, but the young man blocked Sulina's way and pushed her hard, angrily saying, "Do and be ungrateful. If you make trouble again, I'll arrest you and put you into reformation." "Who are you going to arrest?" "Lu Jiefeng." Lu Ye's cold voice sounded, and the person had arrived. He held Wan Chichi with one hand and pinched Lu Jiefeng's arm with the other hand, looking at him coldly. Wan Chichi blinked. "Lu Jiefeng? What a coincidence. I ran into an acquaintance even when buying a bicycle. It turns out that enemies always meet in a narrow road." "Lu Yi, what are you crazy about? It's none of your business if I teach someone a lesson. Get out of the way." Lu Jiefeng struggled with all his strength, but couldn't get free. Lu Yi used only one hand to immobilize him. Moreover, Lu Yi was half a head taller than him, more handsome, and more imposing than him. They were both wearing military uniforms, so when they faced each other face to face, the difference in their strength was immediately apparent. Had admired Lu Jiefeng before were now focused on Lu Yi, and their gazes were so hot that they could rival the sun. Wan Chichi was very proud. As expected, no matter what era, women's aesthetic tastes were the same. Her taste is truly the best in the world. Look how handsome the man she picked is. "Lu Yi, let go. Do you still want to go home?" Lu Jiefeng, who was angry and humiliated, threatened. He knew that Lu Yi actually cared about the old man very much, and he was making a crazy noise just to attract the old man's attention. These were what his mother told him. His mother also said that Lu Yi should just make a fuss. The crazier he made a fuss, the less the old man would like him. From now on, everything in the Lu family would belong to him and his brother. Lu Ye's face became even colder. He sneered and gradually increased the strength of squeezing his hand.
Ouch.
"Let go, I told you to let go. Are you deaf?" Lu Jiefeng cried out in pain, and cold sweat broke out. Wan Chichi frowned, walked over, and slapped him hard in the face. The crisp sound of slapping shocked everyone in the mall, including Sulina and Lu Jiefeng. "Are you crazy? Do you know who his father is? You are done, just wait." Sulina screamed, her tone gloating. She even dared to hit the commander's son. This Zich is about to get into big trouble. Snap, there was another crisp slapping sound, and there were red slapping marks on both sides of Lu Jiefeng's face, which were very symmetrical. Sulina opened her mouth wide, completely dumbfounded. How dare this Zich do that? Lu Jiefeng was also stunned. When he was born, Lu Disheng was already a senior military officer. The children who played with him were all instructed by the adults in the family and were especially polite to him. He grew up like a star. Not to mention being slapped, he had never even heard a harsh word. Until he was 22 years old, The only person who dared to hit or scold him was Lu Disheng. There is also a crazy man named Lu Yi. How dare this woman be so bold? You dare to hit me? Lu Yi, let me go. I'm going to kill her. Lu Jiefeng was stunned for several seconds and finally came to his senses. He was furious and used all his strength to twist and turn under Lu Ye's hands. He was so angry that he went crazy. I'm going to hit you because you're disrespectful to your elder brother and elder sister-in-law. I'm going to hit you because you're such a traitor. Wan Qiqi didn't use her hands this time. She took off her leather shoes, stood on tiptoes, and slapped him left and right in the face. It was fun to smoke, but she was not tall enough and her performance was a little lacking, which made Wan Qiqi very dissatisfied. A hand was caringly placed around her waist, and with a gentle lift, she was picked up just at the same level as Lu Jiefeng. It was the considerate classmate Lu Yi.
Good.
Wan Qiqi was generous with her praise, and Lu Yi grinned, holding her firmly in his big hands so that she could perform without worry. Lu Yi is your elder brother, and you call him by his full name. What a disrespectful thing. Do you think you should be beaten? I am your eldest sister-in-law. You hit me without knowing right from wrong. You are a disobedient and unfilial person. Do you think you should hit me? Our father always taught us that we should not forget our roots and should not bully others. You ignored our father's teachings and acted arrogantly in public under his name. You have ruined our father's reputation. Do you think you deserve a beating? Wan Qiqi would whip him every time he cursed. She cursed openly and beat with confidence, using all her strength. Her leather shoes were also very good. The slap was extremely painful. Lu Jiefeng screamed in pain. His mouth was full of blood, and his back teeth were a little loose. Who the heck are you?
Ah.
Just wait for me. If Lu Jiefeng cursed a few words, he would be slapped a few times, and the slaps were particularly hard. In the end, he didn't dare to curse anymore and just kept his mouth shut, with a look of resentment in his eyes. Tell me, should you fight? Wan Qiqi stopped, holding the leather shoes in her hand, and asked loudly. There was blood at the corners of Lu Jiefeng's mouth. His face, which used to look presentable, was now unsightly. It was swollen like a pig's head, and his eyes were narrowed into a slit. The customers who were watching were all enjoying the show, and they hoped that Wan Qiqi would hit him harder. They didn't know Lu Jiefeng, but they knew Su Lina. Although Su Lina has not been working for a long time, she has worked at several counters, including those selling clothes, shoes, cloth, cakes, and candies, etc. She has worked at almost every counter. Because Su Lina had a particularly bad attitude, no matter what she sold, she would quarrel with customers within 3 days and then receive a bunch of bad reviews. The impact was very bad, so she had to be transferred to another counter. At least half of the customers present had suffered from Su Lina's bad temper and had written bad reviews for her, but this woman had a strong background and was not fired despite so many negative reviews. Instead, she was transferred to better positions. Now they finally know that this woman's backer is the man who was beaten into a pig's head. They are indeed birds of a feather. Fortunately, this man's elder brother and sister-in-law are very sensible and every word they say is on point. And from what the sister-in-law said, the parents are also very sensible. Look, this brother and sister-in-law raised their child very well. It's just that the dragon has 9 sons. Each of them is different. Among the brothers and sisters in the same family, there will always be one who is disobedient and unfilial. Are you deaf or dumb? Tell me, do you know you are wrong? Lu Jiefeng didn't say anything and glared at him with his defiant eyes. Wan Qiqi got angry and swung her leather shoes at him. You didn't hit me lightly. You've made our family lose face. Today I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of my father. If my father knew, he would definitely beat you harder than me. He hates bullies the most. Lu Ye's mouth twitched a few times, and he almost couldn't help laughing out loud. The old man in my wife's words and the old man in reality are like 2 different people. However, seeing Lu Jiefeng's pig-headed face, he felt particularly happy. He was looking forward to how the old man and Lin Manyun would feel when they saw the miserable state of their beloved son. You must be heartbroken angry, and wanting to avenge your precious son, right? He just wanted to see the old man and Lin Manyun and how frustrated they were, wanting to have love with him, but not being able to. It made him happy just thinking about it. Stop hitting me. I know I was wrong. Lu Jiefeng couldn't bear the pain and opened his mouth to admit defeat, but the resentment in his eyes deepened. When he gets home, he will definitely file a complaint and ask the old man to teach Lu Yi and this such a lesson. What's wrong? Wan Qiqi stopped and asked in a cold voice.
I
shouldn't have disrespected my elder brother and you, and I shouldn't have bullied others outside. I know I was wrong.
Stop it.
Lu Jiefeng admitted his mistake despite being very angry. You have no sincerity at all. It's obvious that you don't really realize your mistake. The punishment is too light. Wan Qiqi snorted coldly and started slapping him again, but this time she didn't slap the face, but the body instead. It's not that she was soft-hearted, but Lu Jiefeng's face was already swollen to the point of exploding. If he continued to be beaten, he would probably be disfigured. Lu Jiefeng is a member of the army, so she should keep a low profile. After beating for a few more minutes, Wan Qiqi finally vented her anger. She put on her leather shoes, patted Lu Ye's hand, and signaled him to let her go. Lu Yi obediently put her on the ground, pinched Lu Jiefeng's hand, quickly moved to his neck, lifted him up, and warned him sternly. Look carefully. She is your sister-in-law. Show some respect to her next time you see her. Otherwise, I will break your legs. Sister-in-law, I know I was wrong. I will never bully others outside again. Lu Jiefeng suddenly became timid. He was really scared. The third update is completed. Good night, babies. Lu Jiefeng's childhood can be divided into 2 stages. Before the age of 7, he lived a carefree, happy life. After the age of 7, his and his brother's lives became difficult. Because Lu Yi took it back. For the 10-year-old Lu Yi, beating him and his younger brother was like playing. Moreover, this guy would get crazy at any time without any warning. When he got crazy, he would beat his brothers to vent his anger, and he was particularly cruel. Once, he broke one leg, and his brother broke one hand. Although the old man gave Lu Yi a severe lesson after he came back, it could not make up for the harm they had suffered. Who had been taught a lesson did not learn from it at all. Instead, he became even more crazy and beat his brothers more frequently and more fiercely. Lu Jiefeng clearly remembered that this madman had broken his leg once, his hands twice, once on each hand, and his ribs twice, once on each side. His younger brother Lu Yuanchao was even more miserable than him. All the bones in his body that could be broken had been broken by this madman. He remembered it so clearly because every time he got beaten, Lu Jiefeng would write it down in a little notebook. He had planned to take revenge when he grew up, but when he grew up, he found that he still couldn't beat Lu Yi. This terrible nightmare-like life ended only when Lu Yi joined the army at the age of 17. Lu Jiefeng remembers it very clearly. On the day Lu Yi passed away, the sky was blue, the flowers were fragrant, and the sun was bright. He and his brother opened a bottle of mitai to celebrate. The 2 brothers got drunk and were so happy. But that jerk Lu Yi was transferred back to the Tanzhou military region within 2 years. He would go home every now and then and continue to bully them. Moreover, this lunatic seemed to be even crazier and his fighting power was higher. Even the old man couldn't control him when he went crazy, and he was unable to support him and his brother. There was no other way. As soon as he and his brother turned 17, they rushed to Jiangqing to join the army. They absolutely did not want to be in the same military district with this crazy man. Although I haven't seen Lu Yi for a long time, the psychological trauma caused by childhood has not disappeared. Instead, it has become more and more clear, and the feeling of powerlessness, despair, and fear has returned. Wan Qiqi secretly laughed. This Lu Jiefeng was stupid and cowardly. He was so easy to deal with. I guess another Lu Yuanchao wouldn't be much stronger. In comparison, the 2 brothers of the Mo family are much more cunning. They are very good at putting on a show and coaxing Yuan Huilan around. They are so eager to give their hearts to their 2 stepsons, but they don't care about their own son. Since he knows he's wrong, Forgive him this time. If he bullies others again, you can teach him a lesson. Wan Qiqi started saying nice things, but Lu Jiefeng was not grateful to her at all. Darn it, it was this woman who beat the hardest, and now she's pretending to be a good person, bah. Comrades, I am sorry to have embarrassed you all with my unworthy brother-in-law. Unfortunately, our family has had a rebellious person. My parents-in-law are so worried about it that they are not in good health. As the eldest brother and sister-in-law, my wife and I cannot stand by and watch. It is our responsibility and obligation to educate this jerk. I would like to trouble you all to help supervise him. If this jerk of mine causes trouble outside in the future, just report to the military district. Remember, his name is Lu Jiefeng, Lu for land, and Jiefeng for the whole of China. Thank you all. Wan Qiqi turned around, faced the onlookers, and spoke some heartfelt words in a moving voice. She looks very friendly and speaks in a friendly tone. This speech gave everyone a better impression of her and Lu Yi, and they all gave them thumbs up. Don't worry, comrade. We will definitely keep an eye on your brother-in-law at all times. Lu Jiefeng, we have to remember this. If he dares to bully others, we will report him. It is a blessing for this kid to have such sensible brothers and sisters-in-law like you. The crowd was talking at once, praising Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi, and criticizing and scolding Lu Jiefeng. Lu Jiefeng was almost furious. Darn it, this woman was even crazier and more cunning than Lu Yi. She actually tricked him and put a tight hoop on him in front of so many people. With so many people watching him, how can he move around in Tanzhou City in the future? He has to be careful with everything he says, otherwise someone will report him to the military district, and his father will definitely beat him to death. What a pair of jerks in cahoots with each other. Darn. Lu Jiefeng cursed Wan Qiqi's ancestors in his heart and even made a voodoo doll for her. Now the ranking of the objects of his hatred has changed. Used to be ranked first, but now he has fallen to second place. The first place is Wan Qiqi. He and this crazy woman are sworn enemies.
Stand da siede.
Lu Yi pushed him away in disgust. Lu Jiefeng gritted his teeth, got angry for a few times, and then obediently went to stand against the wall. Su Lina's face was pale, and her legs were weak. She didn't expect that these two people were Lu Jiefeng's elder brother and sister-in-law. Clearly told her that he was the treasure of the family, and that the eldest brother who was a guest in front of him had no status at all. However, these two men looked ferocious, and they did not look like people who were easy to mess with. Moreover, Lu Jiefeng was as timid as a rotten meatworm in front of his eldest brother and could not even stand straight. Su Lina's admiration for Lu Jiefeng dissipated a lot in an instant, but she still wanted to marry Lu Jiefeng. After all, he was the commander's son, and with her conditions, he was the best partner she could find. Comrades, I am the manager of the department store. If you have anything to say, please tell me. A middle-aged man with a Mediterranean look squeezed in, with a forced smile on his face and sweat on his forehead. He actually arrived earlier, but the scene was extremely brutal and they were all the commander's sons, and there were internal disputes in their families, so he decided not to join in the fun, so he hid outside the crowd and waited until the war was over before coming in. Sister. As soon as Su Lina spoke, she was glared at by the manager, and she swallowed the word husband at the end. So, my brother-in-law is the manager. No wonder he's so arrogant and treats public goods as his own. He sells them when he wants and doesn't sell them when he doesn't want. Comrade manager, may I ask your name? Wan Qiqi said something sarcastic and then asked politely. I don't deserve it. My surname is Zhang. The manager reached out to wipe the cold sweat from his forehead and cursed Su Lina in his heart. If he wasn't the manager and his father-in-law had gotten the job through connections, he would have fired this stupid sister-in-law long ago. Then let me ask again, is this department store owned by Zhang or Su? Wan Qiqi restrained her smile and asked a fatal question. The manager was so frightened that his face turned pale, his lips trembled, and his body shook like a sieve. He said in a trembling voice, Comrade. Comrade, the department store is public property, and I serve the people. Comrade, Please rest assured that although Comrade Sulina is my sister-in-law, she made a mistake, and I will definitely deal with it seriously and will never show favoritism. He wiped his sweat again and made up his mind that this time he must severely punish Sulina. Even if he was scolded by his father-in-law and mother-in-law, he would punish her. Otherwise, he will be in trouble too. This young and beautiful woman is so cruel. She is also very good at accusing others. Darn it! Every word she says is life-threatening. How is Manager Zhang going to deal with this? Wan Qiqi asked thoroughly. She has a good habit. Once she goes crazy, she must see it through to the end and get a result. It is impossible for her to let it go easily. Sulina's face turned pale, and she looked at Lu Jiefeng for help, but Lu Jiefeng kept his head down and stood there obediently. Her heart sank to the bottom. She could no longer rely on her partner and could only hope for her brother-in-law. I read the comments about the bug of targeted drugs. Since the author doesn't understand this very well, the writing is not rigorous.
I'm sorry.
Everyone just assume that this bug does not exist, or assume that old lady Guanjihua can take it. If this bug is fixed, I will have to give up a life resurrection pill, which I am a little reluctant to do. Finally, I hope that cancer drugs can be developed as soon as possible, the kind that are large in quantity, cheap and easy to use. By then, cancer will be as common as the common cold. Comrade, rest assured, Comrade Sulina has a very bad influence and has received many negative reviews from customers. I will fire her immediately and cannot let her harm the department store. Manager Zhang expressed his position in a righteous and stern manner, without showing any mercy. Brother-in-law, what right do you have to fire me? Don't forget your... Sulina screamed in disbelief, but was interrupted by Manager Zhang, who glared at her fiercely and scolded her. Just because I'm your leader, you have to go and do the formalities now. He scolded her and winked at her, and finally Sulina's stubborn head came to her senses, and she ran away crying, covering her face. The manager breathed a sigh of relief. This time, his stupid sister-in-law finally did not let him down. He fooled the two big Buddhas first. During this period, he arranged for his sister-in-law to work in the warehouse. It was impossible for her to be fired. He was also counting on the relationship with his father-in-law to get a promotion. It's a bit too serious to fire someone. We should give young people a chance to correct their mistakes. We can't fire people just because they make mistakes. They should admit their mistakes and correct them. How about this? I think Comrade Su has a big problem with her ideological awareness. We should send her to do the most difficult work. With hard work and sweat, we can wash away the dirt in her mind and improve her awareness. What do you think, Manager Zhang? Wan Qiqi didn't believe the manager's lies at all. It sounded nice, but it was impossible to fire him. She didn't want to fire Sulina, but she had to let this woman suffer a little. Manager Zhang's expression changed, but he still agreed and said that he would arrange for Sulina to organize the warehouse. It's not hard to organize the warehouse. Let her be a cleaner. Only by doing the dirtiest work can she clean the impurities in her mind and grow into a qualified salesperson. Manager, don't you think this makes sense? Wan Qiqi gave a direct suggestion, asking Sulina to work as a cleaner and sweep the toilet every day.
Yes.
Yes, you are right. The manager had no choice but to agree. He didn't dare to refuse. He couldn't afford to offend this crazy woman who would accuse him of something whenever she disagreed with him. I can only sacrifice my sister-in-law. Manager Zhang is very conscious. I hope you can educate Comrade Su. I will come here every now and then to see Comrade Su's cleaning work, especially the toilet. That is the most important thing. A clean toilet can make customers who come to buy things happy. This is the real service to the people. Manager Zhang, don't you think this is the truth? Yes, you are right. You are welcome to come and supervise and inspect and give us your valuable suggestions. Manager Zhang's back teeth were almost broken. He really wanted to beat Wan Qiqi to death. He must be a leech. Why did he only focus on his sister-in-law? One more thing. I'm not good at memorizing the quotations from your mall, so don't be lazy. Wan Qiqi took out the frayed copy of the quotations from the emperor from her bag, shook it in front of Manager Zhang, and scolded him in a condescending manner. I will definitely strictly supervise the employees to recite the quotations. In fact, most of the employees have memorized them very well. Only a few comrades are lazy. It is my dereliction of duty. Thank you, comrades, for pointing it out. Manager Zhang was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. If the hat was fastened tightly, he would not be able to turn over. This woman is so vicious. Can I buy this bike now? Wan Qiqi finally showed mercy and let Manager Zhang, who was almost frightened to death, go, and pointed at the blue bicycle and asked, "Of course, do you have a ticket?" The manager breathed a sigh of relief and served her personally, hoping that Wan Qiqi would quickly buy a car and leave. This Phoenix brand bicycle cost 180 yuan and required a ticket. Wan Qiqi paid the money and successfully bought the bicycle. The mall has license plates for bicycles. Now all bicycles must be licensed. The license plates are issued by the Public Security Department for easy management. With the help of the manager, Wan Qiqi's car was registered very quickly, in less than half an hour. The manager even personally sent them downstairs to the mall. He didn't even straighten his back the whole time, and was more respectful than when meeting a superior. Lu Jiefeng, with a pig-like face, followed behind with a sullen look on his face. "Come to my house for dinner tonight. Remember to bring red envelopes." Lu Yi has spoken. Since this kid has returned to Tanzhou, he must get a red envelope. I have an appointment with my friends tonight. Lu Jiefeng didn't want to eat at all. Facing these two people, he couldn't even eat dragon meat. The eldest brother is like a father. If your eldest brother asks you to go home for dinner, you should just listen obediently. Can a friend be more important than your eldest brother? Wan Qiqi raised her hand. This jerk was dumber than a pig because he hadn't been beaten enough. Lu Jiefeng shuddered and timidly agreed. I'll go. Darn it, when this woman is left alone in the future, I'll teach her a lesson. I have no money. Lu Jiefeng curled his lips. He didn't want to give Lu Yi a red envelope. Your elder brother is getting married, and as his younger brother you don't give him a red envelope? Who taught you to be so rude? If you don't have money, you can find a way yourself. The red envelope can't be small, just 1 or 2 yuan. Don't make a fool of yourself. Wan Qiqi couldn't help but kicked him in the calf. Lu Jiefeng gasped in pain. He was angry for a moment, then he became cowardly again. Just wait for him. He doesn't believe that Lu Yi can guard this woman all the time. There will always be a day when she will be left alone.
Grass.
I understand. I'll go to dinner and give you a big red envelope. Is that okay? Lu Jiefeng was in tears. His face, hands, feet, and neck hurt. Every part of his body hurt. He finally got a day off and returned to Tanzhou just to be affectionate with Sulina, but ended up being beaten beyond recognition. He didn't even get to touch Sulina's little hand, let alone kiss her. He even bought 2 movie tickets, but he couldn't watch the movie in the evening. He wants to go home and complain to the old man. The injuries on his body are the best proof. The old man will definitely vent his anger for him. Okay, let's go back. Lu Yi mercifully let go, and Lu Jiefeng felt relieved. He turned around and ran, but his legs were a little weak, and he almost fell. He struggled to stand against the wall. Lu Jiefeng looked very ashamed and angry because he had made a fool of himself in front of Lu Yi again. He was so mad. Why did the old man give birth to such a lunatic like Lu Yi, destroying his and his brother's happy life? After he ran away, Wan Qiqi laughed and said, Lin Manyun's son is very stupid, just like your father. He didn't inherit Lin Manyun's hypocrisy and calculations at all. He is also timid and unable to take responsibility. Lu Yuanchao is even more stupid. Lu Ye's tone was full of disgust, but in fact he didn't hate his 2 younger brothers. After all, they were very stupid, and even when they did bad things, they were only at the level of elementary school students. And ever since he gave those 2 jerks a good beating, the brothers would run away as soon as they saw him, faster than hiding from a ghost. To be precise, the 2 brothers were actually his punching bags. They were beaten from childhood to adulthood, and several of their bones were broken. It was quite a sin. He briefly recounted some things from his childhood. Wan Qiqi's mouth twitched. No wonder Lu Jiefeng was so afraid of her man. Speaking of this, These two brothers are quite pitiful. Alas, it's all the fault of Lu Disheng and Lin Manyun. Although Wan Qiqi felt a little sympathy for the two brothers, she still would not be soft-hearted. After all, they were Lin Manyun's sons. At most, she would spare their lives. Mo Jinsong and Mo Tsongrong are much more sinister, and they are also very good at flattering others. Lu Yi then talked about Mo Qiufeng's two sons. The eldest was Mo Jinsong, 30 years old, married with children, and served as a regiment political commissar in the Jiangcheng military region, with a higher rank than Lu Yi. The second one is Mo Tsongrong, 26 years old, and is the deputy secretary of the Tanzhou City State Arsenal. Lu Hongba also worked in this factory before, but was fired after the incident. Mo Jinsong used to be called Mo Tingtao, and Mo Tsongrong was called Mo Zhenlong. These names were given by Mo Qiufeng. When they were teenagers, they changed them to their current names themselves. Lu Yi said sarcastically. In his opinion, the two brothers had ulterior motives and had been using such means to please adults since they were young. Look at the strong pine trees in the dusk, and they are still calm as the clouds fly by. Wan Qiqi asked in return. This line of poetry is from the quotations. Right?
Lu Yi nodded.
Wan Qiqi sighed. You two stepbrothers are quite thoughtful. They are good at flattering, have great ambitions, are capable, and have a good family background. No wonder this pair of brothers are doing well. They are much better than the Lu Jiefeng brothers. As expected, it depends on genes. Lu Disheng is stupid, and his son is not smart either. Lu Yi is purely an accident. He is a man with a special encounter and cannot be compared with ordinary people. They have a lot of ideas. Let's go buy some groceries.
Lu Yi sneered.
He neither hated nor liked brother Lu Jiefeng, but he hated brother Mo Jinsong. However, he was relieved now. Because he has Qiqi and his own family, he will definitely live a better life than Mo Jinsong and Mo Tsongrong in the future. It's not that he has forgiven them, he just doesn't want to care about it anymore. But if he sees these two people, he still won't be polite. The two went to the vegetable market and bought a lot of vegetables. After Lu Yi went home and put down the vegetables, he went out again and ran to the mountain to catch a fat rabbit and a pheasant. He lived a frugal life and would never spend money on meat that he could catch from the mountain. Wan Qiqi showed off her cooking skills and made several delicious dishes. She made a combination dish of stir-fried meat with chopped pepper, stir-fried vermicelli with sauerkraut, spicy fried dried fish, golden eggs, fried bacon with pig blood, steamed pork with rice flour, 3-in-1 soup, spicy rabbit meat, and pheasant soup. This is a specialty dish from her hometown. It is a must-have dish for any banquet. It is made with daylily, vermicelli, black fungus, dried bamboo shoots, chicken broth, and other ingredients. It is very delicious. When Wan Qiqi went to the banquet, her favorite dishes were the snowflake meatballs and mixed dishes. Later, she learned how to make them herself. Practice makes perfect, and the mixed dishes she made tasted quite good. Money egg, very delicious fried vermicelli with pickled cabbage, a good side dish. Lu Yi was helping by picking, washing, and cutting vegetables. The two of them worked affectionately, attracting the attention of many military wives. Everyone was amazed that Deputy Battalion Commander Lu, who had such a bad temper, would actually help his wife with work and do it so well. Even when Wan Qiqi told him to go east, he would not go west, and was so obedient. Unlike the men in their family, who are too lazy to grow hair. They won't even pick up the broom when it falls over, let alone cook. They are lazy guys who don't even want to help pick onions. Several military wives came over to greet her, and Wan Qiqi was also very easy to talk to, chatting and laughing with them. When they learned that the commander and the political commissar would come to dinner in the evening, the wives became even more envious. Their biological father was the commander, their stepfather was the political commissar, and the two biggest men in the military region were from the families of Deputy Battalion Commander Lu. No wonder he had such a bad temper and wouldn't give face to anyone. They also envied Wan Qiqi for marrying into such a good family. The man was handsome, capable, had a good family background, and was obedient. The more the military wives thought about it, the more envious they became. The sky gradually darkened. Wan Qiqi looked at her watch. It was 5 o'clock. Then he said to Lu Yi, who was stealing rabbit meat nearby, "Go down and greet him." Lu Yi almost choked when he stuffed the rabbit meat into his mouth. He finished it in 2 or 3 gulps. The food cooked by his wife was so delicious that he could finish the whole pot of rabbit meat by himself. It's not like they don't have legs. Lu Yi was not willing to go. Wan Qiqi didn't say anything, just looked at him quietly. Lu Yi's expression became embarrassed, and he said obediently, "I'll go." He picked up another piece of rabbit meat and stuffed it into his mouth, then went downstairs obediently. He was extremely obedient. The military wives nearby were all looking at this in surprise. They originally thought that Wan Qiqi would be bullied by Lu Yi, but now it seems that this soft and sweet-looking girl is the one who is in charge of the family. Wan Qiqi looked down from the balcony and saw Lu Yi standing below, kicking the stones on the ground impatiently. She smiled, rearranged the rabbit meat that she had eaten a lot of, and brought it to the table. Lu Yi kicked the stones impatiently, but he didn't dare go upstairs. If he didn't greet anyone, Qiqi would definitely be angry. The 100th time, and finally saw a group of people walking towards me from afar. Lu Disheng was walking in front, and his expression looked a little unfriendly. Lin Manyan and Lu Jiefeng were behind, followed by Emo Qiufeng and Yuan Huilan, and behind them was a young couple, Emo Tsongrong and a young woman.
Lu Yi similet.
Another person came to give a red envelope. Today was really a good day.
Oh no.
Lu Disheng walked closer and saw Lu Yi stunned for a moment. He was so surprised that he forgot to be angry. It's really rare. This brat actually knows etiquette? Qiqi asked me to come down, hurry up and eat. Lu Yi explained awkwardly and turned away. Lu Disheng looked very pleased. As expected, he still had to get married. He had become much more sensible. His impression of Wan Qiqi also improved. Although she was a little crazy, she was still very polite. "Xiao Yi, long time no see." Emo Tsongrong took the initiative to greet them. He looked a bit like Emo Qiufeng, but lacked his father's calmness and elegance. Although he also had a gentle and handsome appearance, his eyes were sharp and one could see his ambition at a glance. "It's just right that you're here. I'm getting married. Have you prepared the red envelopes?" Lu Yi was too lazy to play along and asked for a red envelope directly. "I will definitely give you a red envelope when you get married." "Congratulations." Emo Tsongrong smiled and took out a red envelope from his pocket, which he had prepared before coming. "Your partner?" Lu Yi took the red envelope and glanced at the woman next to him. She had short hair, was dressed very old-fashionedly, and always had a stern face with a very serious expression. She could have been Emo Tsongrong's mother. "My girlfriend, Zhang Weihong, is the director of the publicity department of my unit and is more capable than me." Emo calmly introduced the object, and it was obvious that he was very satisfied with the object he had chosen. Zhang Weihong stretched out her hand. "Hello, congratulations on finding your revolutionary partner." Her voice was particularly serious, which reminded Lu Yi of his homeroom teacher when he was in school. His palms could not help but feel itchy, because that old lady loved to hit his palms the most. "Thank you, let's go upstairs to eat." Lu Yi shook hands perfunctorily and led them upstairs. Lin Manyan followed behind with a look of growing resentment. Soon she would ask why Jiefeng was beaten so badly. Let's see what Lu Yi and Wan Qiqi have to say this time. Lu Yi deliberately slowed down his pace, walked to Emo Tsongrong's side, lowered his head and whispered in his ear, "Isn't Yuan Huilan's motherly love enough for you?" Emo Tsongrong was stunned for a moment, not realizing what he meant, and looked up at him. "How else would you find a mother?" After Lu Yi finished speaking, he took 3 steps at a time and walked away with a smile. Emo Tsongrong's gentle face froze, he clenched his teeth, and a surge of anger blocked his heart. Darn it, he couldn't even curse back. The 3rd update is finished, and I have posted 2 more pictures. I will try to post fewer pictures in the future, but these 2 dishes are really delicious. I feel itchy if I don't post pictures. Readers who don't like it can skip it. There is one more thing about Lu Chuansao's family. I will write about it later. I will not let them go. Don't worry. Good night. Have a sweet dream. What did your brother say to you? Zhang Weihong asked curiously. Nothing, he praised you for being steady.
Montag kommt Lied.
Your brother is a good man. A smile finally broke out on Zhang Weihong's serious face, but it was fleeting and he quickly returned to his solemn expression. She likes to hear people praise her for being steady the most, and Emote Songrong's younger brother is quite good. Emote Songrong felt very upset. The reason why he chose Zhang Weihong as his partner was not because of her looks, nor because she was 5 years older than him, nor because she was married for the second time. He was attracted by Zhang Weihong's family background. He had found out that Zhang Weihong came from a large compound in the capital, and her father's rank was higher than his father's. Moreover, Zhang Weihong was very capable and many of her ideas were in line with his. He believed that as long as he married Zhang Weihong, his career would definitely reach new heights and allow him to break into that circle in Beijing. That's right, Emote Songrong is very ambitious. He no longer looks down on Tanzhou City and wants to go to the capital. Wan Qiqi stood at the stairs with a smile on her face, greeting everyone one by one. She was sweet-spoken and pretty, and was very likable even when she wasn't being crazy. I've heard of Brother Mo's great name for a long time. It's rare for you to come here today, so you must eat well. Comrade Zhang, don't be polite, just make it like you're at home. Wan Qiqi greeted them generously, and then glanced at Lin Manyun and her son, who all had sullen expressions, as well as Lu Disheng. It was obvious that Lu Jiefeng had gone home to complain, and Lin Manyun looked as if she wanted to eat her. Everyone entered the house and saw the sumptuous dishes on the table. They were all very pleased and felt that Lu Yi had indeed become much more sensible. It was true that a man only truly grows up after he gets married. Wan Qiqi poured orange juice for everyone, and when it was Lin Manyun's turn, she smiled and said, "Congratulations, Aunt Lin. Jiefeng has found a partner, so there will be a wedding banquet in the second half of the year, right?" Lin Manyun was about to question her, but when she heard such shocking news, she was stunned for 3 seconds and turned to look at her son. Lu Jiefeng lowered his head guiltily. "Why didn't you come home and tell me that you found a partner? What do? What do your parents do?" Lin Manyun asked anxiously. She had very high requirements for her daughter-in-law. The first thing was her family background. She had to be well-matched. Secondly, she had to have a gentle temperament. She definitely didn't want to marry someone like Wan Qiqi. Aunt Lin doesn't know yet? Oh, Jiefeng is too ignorant of etiquette. How could he hide such a big thing? His girlfriend is Su Lina, a salesperson in a department store. She's pretty, but she has a bad temper. Today, she made a mistake and was punished by the manager to clean the toilet. Wan Qiqi was very proactive and spoke before Lu Jiefeng. Lu Jiefeng gritted his teeth and said angrily, "It's you who hurt Lina and beat me up like this."
How dare you say that?
Lin Manyun's mind came back to her senses. She asked sternly, "Xiao Yi, Jiefeng is your brother. Why did you beat him so badly? Do you still have any brotherly love?" Lu Disheng didn't say anything. He also wanted to know the reason. When Lu Jiefeng returned home, he almost didn't recognize him. With such a big pig head, he could have played Zhu Beiji without any makeup. Lu Disheng still remembered that when they were young, the brothers Lu Jiefeng and Lu Yuanchao were beaten badly by Lu Yi. Some of their hands and feet were broken, and several ribs were broken. This brat was really cruel. Lu Yi snorted coldly. "I've already fought. Why are you fighting back?" "Old Lu, listen to me. Does he still have any humanity? Jiefeng and Yuanchao were bullied by him when they were young, and not even a single bone is healthy. He wants to kill Jiefeng and Yuanchao." Lin Manyun was furious and complained to Lu Disheng. "Isn't your son alive and well now? Is he missing an arm or a leg? It's because their bones are so fragile that they can't withstand a beating at all." Yuan Huilan made some sarcastic remarks. When it came to dealing with Lin Manyun, she and Lu Yi were in the same camp. "This is my family's affair. You've remarried. What right do you have to interfere?" Lin Manyun was not polite and responded sharply. "I did remarry, but Xiaoya is my son. How can I not intervene if you bully my son?" "Lin Manyun, if you have the time to bully my son, you should educate your 2 sons properly. You are all not young anymore, but you have accomplished nothing and just spend your days idling away. Each generation is worse than the last. Although Lu Dishing is brave but not wise, he still has the word brave. Your two sons, TSK. None of them can even come close. Yuan Huilan is very good at speaking, especially when it comes to criticizing Lu Dishing and his wife. Lu Dishing's face darkened for a moment, then retreated a little. The breath was stuck in the air, unable to go up or down. He wanted to curse back, but this woman Yuan Huilan actually praised him. Although she only praised him half-heartedly, it was still rare. The first time I've heard this woman praise him in decades. And what Yuan Huilan said was also true. The Liberation and Aid Korea campaigns indeed achieved nothing, which was quite disappointing. Lin Manyan was so angry that her chest heaved, and she was gasping for breath. Wan Chichi considerately poured her a glass of orange juice and brought it to her lips, hoping she wouldn't get angry to death and ruin the feng shui of her new house. Lin Manyan, whose throat was smoking with anger, drank up the orange juice in one breath and yelled at Yuan Huilan. My son is fine. He is still young and has a bright future. You don't need to worry about him. Don't fool yourself. Lu Jiefeng is 22, right? Xiao Yu was already a deputy battalion commander at the age of 22, and he had made countless contributions. It was you who begged for the position of platoon leader of Lu Jiefeng. Forget it, I won't argue with you. Just comfort yourself. After all, you can only rely on this false comfort to support the rest of your life. Yuan Huilan cursed harshly, and every word hurt her heart, because she knew that Lin Manyan most wanted her sons to surpass Lu Yi, but the reality was the opposite. These two stupid sons were not even as good as Lu Ye's fingers. Lin Manyan was so angry that her face turned pale. She clutched the table tightly with her hands, and veins bulged on the back of her hands. Wan Chichi was a little worried that this woman would overturn the table and ruin her delicious food. Lu Jiefeng's head was almost under the table, so he didn't want to participate in this kind of dinner party. He had to compete every time, but he couldn't win. His mother was angry outside and would scold him and his brother for not living up to her expectations when she got home. He felt really tired. He also wanted to be a battalion commander or a regiment commander, but it was not something he could decide subjectively. He also did not want to do those dangerous missions. What if he died? He is afraid of hardship, fatigue, pain, and death, and he just wants to live comfortably until he grows old. Rather than being a fleeting firework, he would rather be a long-lived tortoise. Fireworks are beautiful, but they have a short life. His father is the commander. Even if he has no ambition and does not seek to make progress, he still lives better than ordinary people. Why should he risk his life? Huilan, this orange juice is very good. Mo Qiufeng picked up a glass of orange juice and moved it in front of Yuan Huilan. Today is a good day for Lu Yi, and the younger generation is here. Always noisy and unreasonable. Yuan Huilan took a sip and looked at Lin Manyan, whose face turned blue with anger, provocatively. She compares herself with her every day, but doesn't even look at what kind of person she is, a frivolous woman who only knows how to climb into bed and behaves like a concubine. She had seen enough of that at home before she joined the revolution. Mom, drink orange juice. Lu Jiefeng carefully moved his orange juice over. His mother was so angry that she quickly drank some orange juice to cool down. Lin Manyan didn't drink. She glared at him fiercely. It was all because of this brat that she lost face in public. Lu Jiefeng curled his lips and continued to think about his hometown. Actually, it was me who beat Jiefeng. Lu Yi didn't do anything. Wan Chichi said. Lin Manyan's anger, which had just subsided, surged up again. She shouted angrily, "Why did you hit Jiefeng?" Lu Dishing also looked very dissatisfied, but he learned his lesson this time and decided not to take sides. After all, this crazy girl Wan Chichi would make some reversals from time to time, so he had to wait and see. Wan Chichi smiled and said softly, "I beat Jiefeng for his own good, for our father's good, and for the good of our Lu family. Beating Jiefeng hurts my heart, and I have no choice. Don't try to be so rude, Lao Lu, just say something." Lin Manyan directly asked Lu Dishing to seek justice. He would have to make the decision for her and her son this time, right? Lu Dishing ignored her and asked Lu Jiefeng, Why did your sister-in-law beat you?
He is much calmer now.
Since Wan Chichi said that, she must have a good reason. This girl is a little crazy, but she will definitely not shoot herself in the foot.
I
don't know. Lu Jiefeng hesitated and refused to say anything. He was afraid that if he told the reason, he would be beaten to death by his father. Let me tell him. Today, Lu Yi and I went to the mall to buy bicycles, and something went wrong. Wan Chichi described in detail how bad Su Lina's attitude was, how Lu Jiefeng stood up for her, and how he wanted to take her to a farm for reform. Lu Disheng's face became more and more ugly, and Lu Jiefeng's head was lowering lower and lower. He now just wanted there to be a crack in the ground so that he could crawl into it. Dad, Louis said that you hate bullying the most. Jiefeng was young and ignorant, but he actually used your name to show off outside. There were so many customers in the mall at the time, and they all heard it. What a bad influence it had on you. And fortunately, it was me and Lu Yi who were there. If it was an ordinary citizen, Lu Jiefeng would have really arrested him and sent him to the farm. Wan Chichi's expression was very sincere, and she even gave a little flattery appropriately. Military strategy says that you have to defeat them one by one. In other words, when attacking the enemy, you have to attack them one by one. You can also unite with other enemies. Lu Disheng is the best target for alliance. I just want to scare you. I'm not really going to arrest you. Lu Jiefeng raised his head and defended himself. He's not that bad. He just wants to scare people. Snap! A fierce slap made Lu Jiefeng fall off the stool. His already swollen face became even more swollen, and a bloody handprint appeared on his face. What did I tell you? You must keep a low profile outside, and you must not use my name to bully others. You King ignored me. Your sister-in-law beat me well, but if I were here, I would beat her even harder. If it were at home, Lu Disheng would definitely use more force, but today he was attending his son's wedding, so no matter how angry he was, he had to endure it. Go home and teach this jerk a lesson. Lu Disheng glared at Lu Jiefeng fiercely, trying to suppress his anger, and forced a smile at Wan Chichi, praising him. You did the right thing. Wan Chichi curled her lip secretly. The old man's words sounded nice, but why didn't he restrain Lu Hongling's family before? However, after being fooled by her recently, the old man seemed to have become smarter and was no longer fooled by Lin Manyun as before. Dad, we are a family, we share honor and disgrace. Jiefeng caused trouble outside, and Lu Yi and I will also be implicated. Moreover, we are the eldest brother and sister-in-law, and we have the obligation to teach our younger brother. It's right. Wan Chichi's words sounded very nice, and Lu Disheng felt very relieved. By comparison, he felt that Lin Manyun was indeed immature. At her age, she is not as sensible as Wan Chichi. She only thinks about petty bourgeois things all day long and has spoiled her two sons. Lin Manyun rushed over to comfort her son immediately. Lu Jiefeng was stunned and his head was buzzing, but it did not affect his extreme grievance. He really felt that he was more wronged than Do-yi. He even paid a red envelope of 10 yuan, but in the end, he didn't even have the chance to eat and was beaten. He is the most pitiful man in the world. His father doesn't love him, his mother is incompetent, he has a vicious brother, and he married a sinister and vicious sister-in-law. He no longer has a way to survive in this family. No, there is no place for him to stay in Tanzhou City. Feeling extremely aggrieved, Lu Jiefeng threw himself into Lin Manyun's arms and burst into tears. Lu Disheng's face darkened again, veins bulged on the back of his hands. He already had the intention to kill, a grown man acting like a weakling. How could such a weakling go to the battlefield? No, he couldn't wait to go to Jiangqing for the meeting, so he had to call there first and mention the two jerks' trip to Qinghai Tibet and Kunlun Mountains. It had to be arranged this year. Why are you crying? Your mother is still alive and well. Lu Disheng yelled at her angrily. Lin Manyun's face darkened, and she gritted her teeth. Ever since Wan Chichi instigated them yesterday, old Lu's attitude towards her has changed. However, Lin Manyun was not too worried. She was confident that she could coax Lu Disheng. It was just a matter of time. Lu Jiefeng didn't dare to cry anymore. He got up sobbing and sat back in his seat, sobbing from time to time. There was a bloody handprint on his face, as well as a pig-like face, which looked weird. Wan Qiqi even felt a rare bit of sympathy. It seemed that Lu Disheng didn't love Lin Manyun's 2 sons that much. "Can you please treat Lu Jiefeng and the others well?" Wan Qiqi asked in a low voice. "It's okay. They didn't starve, but we beat them up a lot." Lu Yi told the truth. Lu Disheng spent very little time at home. He left early and came back late. He seldom took care of the children. It was Lin Manyun who took care of them. However, the Lu Jiefeng brothers were often beaten. Because Lu Disheng believed in the education of beating children to make them filial, and he was even stricter with his sons, beating them for the slightest mistake, and he was particularly cruel, so the Lu Jiefeng brothers were particularly afraid of him. Wan Qiqi shook her head. Someone like Lu Disheng would never be able to be a father. No wonder the Lu Jiefeng brothers were spoiled by Lin Manyun. Qiqi's dishes are all delicious, especially the spicy rabbit meat, which suits my taste. Mo Qiufeng spoke again at the right time, breaking the dull atmosphere, but he really liked eating this rabbit meat. He ate a lot of it when Lu Disheng was teaching his son a lesson just now. "I like this dish. It's a famous dish from my hometown." Yuan Huilan picked up a piece of the dish with chopsticks and ate it, praising it highly. "Very delicious," Wan Qiqi raised her eyebrows. She didn't expect that she and Yuan Huilan were from the same hometown. "I like all the dishes. Xiaoye is very lucky to have married a cousin who is such a good cook." Mo Tsongrong said with a smile. "You are wrong. I came here to marry Qiqi." Lu Yi corrected himself consciously and picked up a piece of rabbit meat to eat. If he didn't eat it, Mo Qiufeng would have eaten it all. Mo Tsongrong was stunned, unable to tell whether Lu Yi was joking or serious. "What door?" Yuan Huilan was also stunned. She didn't know that Lu Yi had come to her house. If your son becomes someone's son-in-law, all his children will be named Wan. Lin Manyun finally got the chance and started to make sarcastic remarks with a gloating look. Yuan Huilan's expression changed. She looked at Wan Qiqi with dissatisfaction and said to Lu Yi, "Why don't you discuss this with your family?" "Why should I discuss my marriage with you? It's not you who are getting married. Besides, you didn't discuss your marriage with me when you got married." Lu Yi retorted. Without stopping his chopsticks, he quickly picked up a piece of rabbit meat, smiled triumphantly at Mo Qiufeng, who missed the opportunity, and put it into his mouth to eat. Mo Qiufeng also smiled and picked up another piece of rabbit meat to eat. He did not comment on the matter of the visit. After all, he was not his biological son, and he did not have the right to do so. However, he felt that it was a new society now. Men and women were equal, and it didn't matter whose surname one had. The name was just a code. When he was lurking in the city and gathering intelligence, he changed dozens of names. Sometimes he himself was confused. What was his last name? It was not until he went to the front that he used his original name again, and the trance disappeared. So, he really thinks it doesn't matter what your surname is, since we are all descendants of Yan and Huang anyway. "I don't agree with you coming to my house. Your family is not so poor that they can't make ends meet. Why bother coming to my house?" Yuan Huilan frowned and sounded very dissatisfied. In the older generation's thinking, only men whose families are extremely poor will marry into the wife's family. Moreover, in rural areas, sons-in-law who marry into the wife's family are looked down upon. Her son has the ability and family background, so why should he suffer this? "Mom, I'm really disappointed by what you said. I used to think you were a modern woman with progressive ideas, but I didn't expect that you still hold old-fashioned ideas. You talk about gender equality every day, but in fact you are against it. It's really sad." Wan Qiqi spoke before Lu Yi and refuted slowly. "Where did I object?" Yuan Huilan was very unconvinced. "You were just objecting. Since men and women are equal, men can marry women, and women can naturally marry men. This is true equality. Otherwise, what kind of equality are we talking about?" Wan Qiqi asked back. Who had been silent the whole time, could not help but applaud. "That's right, this is true gender equality. I think Comrade Wan is right." Yuan Huilan's face was blue and red, and she felt a little embarrassed. because she didn't know how to refute, and she also felt that what Wan Qiqi said seemed to be right. Could it be that her ideas were really outdated? Wan Qiqi added, "The country advocates freedom of marriage and opposes arranged marriages. Lu Yi is an independent individual, and he can decide his own marriage. He and I truly love each other, and we understand each other very well. We live happily together. It is a match made in heaven. What does it matter if we are married or not? The key is that Lu Yi is very happy, much happier than when he was with you. After all, I can give him something that you can't give him." "What is it?" Zhang Weihong asked curiously. "Like," Wan Qiqi answered. Shyness came over Zhang Weihong's serious face, and she blushed. It was the first time she heard someone speak love out loud. Zhang Weihong had a very good impression of Wan Qiqi. She thought she was a passionate, unrestrained, and thoughtful new woman, and it would be interesting to be friends with her. Yuan Huilan and Lu Disheng felt a little embarrassed and felt a little guilty. After all, they did let Lu Yi down. "Don't you like eating mixed dishes? Eat more." Mo Qiufeng picked up a small plate of mixed vegetables and moved it in front of Yuan Huilan. He was the happiest person during this dinner. With his favorite rabbit meat, Mo Qiufeng enjoyed the meal particularly well. "Thanks." Yuan Huilan took the dish and started eating to hide her embarrassment. Lu Disheng curled his lips and complained in his heart. The couple kept thanking each other. How hypocritical. However, he no longer minds Lu Ye's visit. After all, no matter how much he minds, it cannot influence the decision of this rebellious son, and it only makes him mad. If it rains, let it rain. If my mother wants to get married, let her get married. Lu Disheng has also been working hard to learn the quotations recently, and the results are very gratifying. Every time there is a meeting, he can say a few brilliant remarks that impress others. Last time he went to Jiangqing for a meeting, some people said that he is now completely different from before after 3 days of absence. With Mo Qiufeng's mediation, the atmosphere at the dinner table gradually eased. Moreover, the dishes cooked by Wan Qiqi were indeed delicious. Even the depressed Lu Jiefeng ate 3 big bowls of food with tears in his eyes. After dinner, everyone went home. Zhang Weihong walked up to Wan Qiqi and said seriously, "I think you are very interesting and I want to make friends with you. Is that okay?" "Of course, my name is Wan Qiqi." "My name is Zhang Weihong. Nice to meet you." Zhang Weihong shook hands with her and smiled a little. She also left her contact number before leaving with Mo Tsongrong. Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi sent them downstairs, and after everyone left, they went home excitedly to count the red envelopes. Mo Qiufeng and his wife got 100 yuan, Lu Disheng also got 100 yuan. Mo Tsongrong and Lu Jiefeng each got 10 yuan, making a net profit of 220 yuan in one night.
Good.
Wan Qiqi was very satisfied and felt that it was worth her hard work for the whole afternoon. Lu Yi was also very satisfied, and he even had a new idea for making a fortune. "How about we get divorced after a while and then remarry? This way you can earn red envelopes again." Then he was slapped on the head by Wan Qiqi. "Are you stupid? You can receive red envelopes, not only when you get married. When we have a baby, we can receive red envelopes 4 times. When the baby is born, when it is 1 month old, when it is 100 days old, and when it is 1 year old." Lu Ye's eyes lit up, and he dragged Wan Qiqi to the bedroom. They had to hurry up and have a baby to earn a red envelope. "Don't push so hard. Be careful of getting 2 babies at once. It's not worth it." The baby-making movement began. Wan Qiqi reminded that although twins are cute, the red envelopes are more attractive, so it is more cost-effective to have children one by one. Was about to increase his speed, immediately restrained himself after hearing this. His wife was right. He should be gentler. Another night of spring breeze passed through Yumen Pass. The 2 of them stayed in bed again. The sun was shining on their butts, but they were still sleeping soundly. The first one to wake up was Wan Qiqi, who was awakened by the urge to pee. Her bladder was about to explode, but she didn't want to get up and lazily curled up in Lu Ye's arms and took a nap. Lu Yi also woke up. He was woken by hunger. He had digested all the 5 big bowls of rice he had eaten last night, but he didn't want to get up either. It was so comfortable to sleep with his sweet and soft wife in his arms, even more comfortable than eating. He didn't want to let go. Lu Yi wanted to change the hugging position, but as soon as he moved, Wan Qiqi stopped him with gritted teeth. Don't move. She had managed to maintain the balance of her bladder with great difficulty, and she must not disrupt it. Otherwise, she was worried that she would leak. Lu Yi listened to the advice and lay still, and asked curiously, "Why can't I move?" "Swelling." Wan Qiqi answered briefly and to the point, fearing that adding even one more word would disrupt the balance. Lu Yi received it miraculously. He thought about it and came up with a good idea. Dig a hole in the bed, put a basin underneath, and lift the quilt to drain the water. Good idea. How come you are so smart? Wan Qiqi tried hard to hold back her laughter as she praised him, praising him so much that Lu Ye's tail swung like a fan. He immediately went to get the tools and make a hole in the bed. Eat first, I'm starving. Wan Qiqi grabbed him and diverted his attention by talking about eating. She had no objection to having a hole in the bed, but there must not be a urinal in the room because she couldn't stand the smell of urine. When they got up, it was almost noon. Many people were making lunch in the corridor. Wan Qiqi quickly ran to the toilet. There was a public toilet, shower room, and water room on each floor. Wan Qiqi stewed some rice and fried 3 big dishes: fried meat with dried tofu, fried cured fish with garlic sprouts, stir-fried vegetables, and also cooked a seaweed egg soup. "Sister Qiqi, did you guys have breakfast and lunch?" A military wife came over to greet her. Up to now, Wan Qiqi had never had a fit in the family building. Everyone thought she was a gentle person and liked her very much. That's right. Wan Qiqi smiled and asked Lu Yi to take the dishes back to the room while she brought a pot of rice. After finishing the meal, the two went out. Their afternoon schedule was very full. They went to see He Jianjun first, and then Lu Hongba. They hadn't seen them for a while and missed them very much. The third update is finished. At the beginning of the article, it said that the heroine would not take the college entrance examination, which means she would not take the college entrance examination in 1977. The Workers', Peasants' and Soldiers' University is a recommendation system, so there is no need to take the exam. Don't explain why the heroine did not take the college entrance examination. It will take another 6 years to take the exam. The time is too long. The Workers', Peasants' and Soldiers' University has graduated and joined the work to get promoted. The explanation is complete. Good night, my dears. He Jianjun has not yet gone to court and is being detained temporarily. Lu Chunchao is forcing her daughter to divorce him. Lu Hongling is reluctant, but this time Lu Chunchao is very determined. They're divorced. Lu Hongling is still a staff member of the military hospital. She's on sick leave. Lu Chunchao plans to transfer her to the winery to keep a close eye on her. Lu Yi talked about the family's current situation and that He Jianjun had become an abandoned child. Wan Qiqi rolled her eyes and came up with an idea. Let He Jianjun accuse Lu Hongling of being the mastermind and say that he was forced to do it. Even if we get divorced, we are still husband and wife for a lifetime. Let's go to prison together and share the joys and sorrows. Lu Chunchao will definitely go to the old man to make trouble. Lu Yi smiled wickedly, looking forward to it very much. Let her make a fuss. The more she makes a fuss, the more annoyed your father will be. Besides, your father will soon be too busy to take care of himself and won't have the time to care about her trivial matters. Wan Qiqi sneered. Lu Chunchao was the most vicious person in this family, followed by Lin Mannion. To put it bluntly, the Lu Jiafeng brothers are just stupid and cowardly kids. They have never had proper guidance from adults since they were young, and have been spoiled. Lu Chuancao's family is bad from the root, and they are the direct murderers of the original body's death. Going to see He Jianjun, Wan Qiqi first called her hometown and called Ma Chunxing to find out about the situation there. Fortunately, Ma Chunxing had not gone out and had just finished a meeting. Director Ma, congratulations to you. Wan Qiqi spoke in a cheerful tone and started by congratulating. Ma Chunxing was stunned for a moment and then asked happily, Comrade Wan, what brings you so much joy? Is he going to be transferred to the county town? Ma Chunxing was so excited that his heart almost jumped out of his chest. He wanted to ask directly, but that would seem too unreserved. Your brother Ma Chunlai won a third-class merit a while ago. You didn't know about this, did you? Did Chunlai make any contribution? He didn't tell me. Comrade Ruan, please tell me in detail. Ma Chunsheng became even more excited. Making meritorious contributions in the army meant that he had a great chance of being promoted. If his younger brother was promoted in the army, it would also be beneficial to his career. In the future, the descendants of their Ma family would have more opportunities to go out and would no longer have to stay in this poor mountain village. This matter is a bit complicated. As soon as we returned to Tanzhou, my husband went to inquire about your brother. After all, we are from the same hometown, and we must help each other within our abilities. As a result, my husband found out one thing. Wan Qiqi's logic was very clear, and he explained the cause and effect of the matter clearly. What a coincidence! Ma Chunsheng's younger brother Ma Chunlai was the unlucky guy whose credit was snatched away by He Jianjun. Ma Chunlai was different from his brother. He was an honest and kind young man, but he had been practicing martial arts since he was a child and was very skilled. It was no problem for him to deal with more than a dozen strong men alone. Ma Chunlai's individual combat capability is among the best in the entire army, so he was awarded the third-class merit. It's a pity that it was shamelessly snatched away by He Jianjun. Don't worry, Director Ma. My husband has already found evidence and reported it to his superiors. He Jianjun, who stole the credit for your brother's work, has also been expelled from the army and will be tried by a military court. The military medal your brother deserves will be awarded to him in due course. Wan Qiqi was telling the truth, but she mixed up the timeline a bit, making it sound like she went there on purpose to do this. Ma Chunsheng was so moved that at that moment, if Wan Qiqi asked him to die, he would not even frown. A gentleman will die for his friend. Thank you, Comrade Wan. Please thank your wife for me. I won't say much. Comrade Wan, if you have anything to say, just let me know. Ma Chunsheng's tone sounded as if he was ready to go through fire and water and stab himself in the side. Director Ma, you are too polite. Although we have just met, we have very similar revolutionary ideas. This is what great minds think alike. Your business is my business, and my business is your business. Stop saying those polite words. Wan Qiqi said some nonsense that deeply moved Ma Chunsheng and tricked him into almost offering his head to prove their friendship. There are so many coincidences in this world. Director Ma, do you know who stole the credit from your brother? Who? Ma Chunsheng asked with gritted teeth, wishing he could take people to dig up the jerk's ancestral grave right now. He's from Morangiawan too. His name is He Jianjun. He's the same family that was dug out for using a radio not long ago. Director Ma, bad elements have actually infiltrated the team. Fortunately, the military district leaders have sharp eyes and didn't let this jerk succeed. Wan Qiqi expressed her feelings, and Ma Chunsheng, who was on the other end of the phone, was even more shocked and angry and felt deeply guilty. Under his jurisdiction, bad elements actually infiltrated the revolutionary ranks, which almost caused heavy losses both publicly and privately. It was a serious dereliction of duty on his part. So it's their family. The enemy has indeed been ready to make a move. I will go and interrogate the He family and deal with them as soon as possible, even through the microphone. To be able to get to the position of director of the commune's tail-cutting committee, he is definitely a ruthless and merciless person. The He family is in trouble. Director Ma has worked hard day and night for the safety of the country and the people, and he is a role model for our generation to learn from. Wan Qiqi flattered him. No, I still need to study hard and improve my consciousness. Comrade Wan Guoming's family has been reformed very well on the farm. The hard work has sublimated their thoughts. They dig the soil during the day and study quotations at night. With the supervision of other people on the farm, their progress is very significant. After another year or so of reform, they will definitely become very pure revolutionary masses. Ma Chunsheng consciously reported the situation of Wan Guoming's family, and Wan Qiqi also understood the hidden meaning of his words. This family lived a miserable life on the farm, a life worse than death. They worked during the day and had to memorize lessons at night. They were also bullied by other people on the farm. Even the strongest person could not endure it. But after a year or so, they would be completely sublimated and get to meet Marks. Wan Qiqi hung up the phone happily in a good mood. He Jianjun's parents and family probably won't see the sun next month. There is no innocent person in this family. They bullied the original body a lot in the previous life, including He Jianjun's eldest brother and sister-in-law, who spread yellow rumors in Ranjia Bay and threw feces at the gate of their Wan family, which forced the original body to death. As for Wan Guiming's family, I estimate that we can visit their grave during the Qingming festival next year. Let's go tell He Jianjun the good news. Wan Qiqi waved to Lu Yi, and the two of them rode their bikes to the place where He Jianjun was imprisoned. He Jianjun was brought out. It had only been more than half a month since he last saw him, and the pretty boy had turned into a homeless man with an untidy beard and a listless look. His hair had not been washed for who knows how many days and was dripping with oil. He also exuded a foul odor. When He Jianjun saw that it was Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi, his eyes suddenly dimmed and he turned and left. He thought it was Lu Hongling, and now only Lu Hongling could save him. Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi must have come to laugh at him, and he didn't want to see them at all. Don't go, I have good news for you. Wan Qiqi called him. He Jianjun hesitated for a few seconds, turned around, and asked hopefully, Did Lu Hongling ask you to come? What did she say? Although Lu Hongling divorced him, she is still pregnant with his baby. She shouldn't just watch him die, right? You're dreaming. The baby in Lu Hongling's belly is gone. She had an abortion. Your baby has already turned into blood and disappeared. Don't you know that? TSK. Don't be too upset. You have to understand. After all, you are divorced. It's not easy to remarry with a big belly. I'm sorry. Wan Qiqi comforted him insincerely and even put the blame on Lu Hongling for beating the child. He Jianjun's face changed drastically. The last bit of light in his eyes disappeared completely and turned into ashes. She aborted the baby? How could she abort the baby? He Jianjun talked to himself in despair. It was not that he loved the child very much, but the child was the only bond between him and Lu Hongling. Now that the bond was broken, he had no hope anymore. How can she get married if she doesn't abort the baby? Oh, you may not know, but Lu Hongling's parents have introduced her to a boyfriend. If everything goes well, you should be able to eat her wedding candy before you get shot. Wan Qiqi's words were not nonsense. Lu Yi found out that Lu Chunchao was indeed actively looking for a partner for her daughter, and her requirements were much lower than before. As long as he has a stable job, he can be older or a widower. Lu Chunchao was very eager to marry off her daughter. She was worried that Lu Hongling still had feelings for He Jianjun and would do something stupid again. She would feel at ease only if she married her off as soon as possible. He Jianjun's face turned pale, and he looked completely lifeless. He was terrified. Why did he get shot? He just stole some credit, so he shouldn't be sentenced to death, right? Wan Qiqi kindly explained his doubts. Do you think I am exaggerating? No, your crime is not that serious. After all, Lu Hongling is the principal offender, and you are just an accomplice. But Lu Hongling has cleared herself now. She said she had no knowledge of the crime and that it was all you who did it, so your crime is a bit serious. It wasn't me, it was her who did it, and she was the one who came up with the idea. How could I have the ability to steal it? She wronged me. He Jianjun cried out loudly for justice. He now hated Lu Hongling and her daughter so much that they killed his child and also slandered him, trying to kill him. They were so vicious. There's no point yelling at us. We're not judges. Wan Qiqi sneered with a sarcastic expression. For the sake of our fellow countrymen, I would like to give you a piece of advice. Those who confess will be treated leniently, while those who resist will be treated severely. If you are kind enough to take the blame for others, they may not appreciate it and may even put the blame on you, and even take your life. Wan Qiqi tried to sow discord, then turned around and left. After walking a few steps, she turned around and said with a smile, I forgot to tell you the good news. Lu Yi and I are getting married. This is my wedding candy. She took out a few fruit candies from her bag and threw them in. The fruit candies fell at He Jianjun's feet. He looked at them stupidly, then looked at Wan Qiqi, who was smiling like a flower, and felt regretful in his heart. If he had not broken off the engagement, he would still be Wan Qiqi's fiancé, and he would be the one marrying her now. He would not have been framed by that ugly and vicious jerk Lu Hongling, and he would not have come to this hellhole and been shot. He Jianjun, filled with regret, shed bitter tears, which flowed into his mouth and reached his heart. After they walked out, Lu Yi asked curiously, "Why didn't you tell him about your family?" If it were him, he would definitely say, "This jerk is so frustrating. We don't have to speak. Someone else will speak for us." Wan Qiqi smiled mysteriously. It would be meaningless if she said it out loud, so Ma Chunsheng had to say it. Moreover, if He Jianjun knew that all his family members had become bad elements, he would definitely become disheartened and lose the will to survive. He Jianjun doesn't want to die now. As long as there is a chance of survival, he will try it and save him to deal with Lu Hongling. Lu Yi figured it out quickly and gave Wan Qiqi a thumbs up, praising her generously. "My wife is so smart. If we were born in the Three Kingdoms period, you would be Zhuge Liang, and I would be Zhou Yu. We would join forces to conquer the world, and there would be no Cao Cao or Liu Bei. You should be Xiao Qiao and Xiao Qiao, and I'll be Zhou Yu." Wan Qiqi was not satisfied with this configuration. Two men alone would not be able to accomplish anything. Only when a man and a woman work together can the work be done without getting tired. "Okay, I'll listen to you." Lu Yi grinned. He would listen to his wife's arrangements anyway, let alone being De Qiao or Xiao Qiao. He could even be Diao Chan. So good. Wan Qiqi patted him on the head gently. It felt really good to raise Lu Yi, just like raising a big obedient wolf dog. It gave her a great sense of accomplishment. The second stop was to see Lu Hongba. The farm was in the suburbs, a bit far away. Them an hour to ride there. The farm was full of vitality in the spring. The rice fields on both sides of the road were full of green seedlings. There were many people working in the fields, and some were clearing land at the foot of the mountain. Shi Xiaojun was dumbfounded. Shi Jinghong wanted to take him home to raise him. When the old man found out, he put pressure on the farm. Now Shi Xiaojun has been assigned to raise pigs and eats pig food with them every day. On the way, Lu Yi talked about Shi Xiaojun's situation. "You did it?" Wan Qiqi asked back. Shi Xiaojun would definitely not be stupid for no reason. It must be the work of her man. Lu Yi chuckled and did not deny it. Wan Qiqi's eyes lit up, and her curiosity was particularly strong. She asked, "How did you do it? Did you put a needle through the top of your head?" There was a medical maniac in the mental hospital who was keen on doing human experiments every day on himself and his fellow patients. One time in the middle of the night, his roommate suddenly woke up and saw this guy holding a fruit knife, gesturing on his stomach and muttering to himself. The patient was so scared that he rolled off the bed and crawled out. After that, this medical madman lived in a single room. Other patients avoided him like the plague. Only Wan Qiqi played with him and learned a lot of strange ways to harm people from him. Lu Yi was amused and explained, the force of the needle insertion was not properly controlled. Shi Xiaojun fell into the river by himself and was in the water for too long, so his brain was deprived of oxygen and he became stupid. He is so unlucky. Wan Qiqi curled her lips and didn't ask any more questions. But she knew that Shi Xiaojun's fall into the water must be related to Lu Yi. The old tea tree said that Lu Yi was the son of a dragon and a human. Dragons can control water, so Lu Yi should be able to do it too. It is not difficult to make a person fall into the water silently. When there is a chance one day, she will take Lu Yi to the beach and ask him to take her to the bottom of the sea to look for treasures. There are so many shipwrecks on the seabed, there must be a lot of treasures. Lu Yi also talked about the fate of two other people. In the restaurant that day, in addition to Lu Hongba and Shi Xiaojun, there were two other jerks. Their family background was worse than Shi Xiaojun's. Shi Xiaojun was taken to a farm for reform, and Lu Hongba was also sent there. The parents of the remaining two took the initiative to send their sons to the farm for fear of angering Shi Jinghong and Lu Disheng. These two were even more unlucky. They had an accident just a few days after arriving at the farm. One was crushed to death, and the other fell to death. Lu Yi described in detail how the two men died. Their names were Zhang San and Li Si. Zhang San and Li Si were close friends. After they entered the farm, they were assigned to smash stones. Li Si held the chisel and Zhang San swung the hammer, and they worked together pretty well. But it was all because of their bad luck that the hammer, which had passed through the hands of so many people, broke down in Zhang San's hands. Zhang San swung the hammer high. The hammer flew out and hit Li Si's head hard, smashing his brain out on the spot. He didn't even need to be sent to the hospital, he died. Li Si's entire head was smashed and turned into a red and white substance. Zhang San was so scared that he ran out crazily, saying that he didn't kill anyone. However, he lost his way in panic and missed a step, rolling down the slope. The back of his head hit a rock, and he also became a stiff and straight corpse. Although the two of us were not born on the same day, it is a blessing to die on the same day. Wan Qiqi sighed but didn't ask for details. It must be Lu Ye's doing, otherwise there wouldn't be so many coincidences in the world. She is very pleased and will be rewarded well by her man tonight. The two went to see Shi Xiaojun first. He is now a pig farmer, eating and living with pigs every day. Putting aside other things, Shi Xiaojun is still very happy now. Look, lying on the ground, grabbing food with a few pigs. How happy. Wan Qiqi stood far away, looking at Shi Xiaojun with disdain as he was competing for food with a group of pigs. There was a fat and strong pig with a bad temper. It thought Shi Xiaojun was eating too much, so it kicked him with its front hoof, sending him flying. Shi Xiaojun lay flat on the ground. The ground shook a few times, and he lay on the ground crying loudly, feeling particularly aggrieved. Xiaojun, my son, I've told you many times not to fight with the pigs for food. Mom will cook for you. Hurry up and get up. Where are you hurt? Shermu ran over in a hurry. She had changed a lot. There were many more wrinkles on her face, and most of her hair was white. She looked at least 10 years older. Her a lot of effort to help her son up. Shi Xiaojun's face and clothes were covered with pig food and dirt, and he was dirty. He was crying loudly. Shi's mother couldn't help but feel sad. She couldn't understand how such a good life could turn out like this. Let's go and see Lu Hongba. Wan Qiqi took Lu Yi away. After Shi Jinghong got into trouble, death would be waiting for Shi Xiaojun. Shi Jinghong tortured many people to death, and those people hated him. As long as he fell, there would be countless people who would take advantage of him. At that time, Shi Jinghong would be unable to take care of himself, and the first one to suffer would be his stupid son. Is your father's pen still in use? Wan Qiqi asked. That pen is important evidence and will be of great use. It's still in use. In a week at most, the old man will have a meeting with Shi Jinghong. It will be exciting to watch then. Lu Yi knew what she was thinking and revealed an important piece of information. We'll hand in our little notebooks after they've fought to the death. No problem. The two looked at each other and smiled like two cunning foxes. Lu Hongba's hemorrhoids had not yet healed and he had lost too much blood, so his body was extremely weak. The farm leaders did not dare to assign him to work, fearing that he would die on the farm. So they found him a remote, quiet house and delivered 3 meals a day to him. The two arrived. Lu Hongba was lying on a lounge chair basking in the sun with a blanket covering him. You look pretty good, and it seems you've had a nice time recently. Ahem. Lu Yi coughed forcefully a few times. Lu Hongba, who was dozing off, woke up with a start. When he opened his eyes and saw him, he was so scared that his face turned pale. He jumped up and tried to run back to his room. Why are you running? You don't know how to call your uncle when you see him? Do you know any etiquette? Lu Yi moved as fast as lightning, grabbed him by the collar, and gently dragged him in front of Wan Qiqi. Call me aunt. Lu Hongba was stunned. He looked at Wan Qiqi in disbelief, then at Lu Yi, his brain unable to react. Are you deaf or dumb? She is your aunt, call someone. Lu Yi slapped him on the head, making his head buzz, but he also reacted. Wan Qiqi actually married Lu Yi? Holy shoot, when did these two get together? Lu Hongba gritted his teeth and shouted. Aunt. Hey, reform yourself and don't embarrass your grandfather. Wan Chichi lectured in a condescending manner, and Lu Hongba listened silently. You may not know this yet, but your job at the arsenal is over. Even if you are released after reformation, you will become an unemployed youth. Your grandfather said that he will no longer arrange jobs for your family members. You have to find a way on your own. Oh, your mother is really heartless this time. She has done this again and again.
Oh.
Wan Chichi sighed and didn't say anything else, but her meaning was very clear. Lu Hongba's face changed color instantly, and his eyes were full of disbelief. Isn't my job still mine? My mom said so. His mother came to see him yesterday and told him to stay on the farm and not to worry about work as everything had been arranged. How could it fall through? Wan Chichi looked at him with such pity that Lu Hongba felt heavier in the heart and his back felt colder. How come you still don't understand that you've been abandoned by your family? You have become a discarded child and no one will care about you anymore. Wan Chichi's tone was full of compassion, but the words she said were more cutting than a knife. Impossible, my mother came yesterday and brought me a lot of things. Don't try to trick me. I won't be fooled. Lu Hongba was so excited that he shouted like a madman. It's just to comfort you. You can also regard it as your mother's last bit of mercy for you. After all, your mother still has some feelings for you. But your mother still cares about your sister and your brother the most. You are notorious now. The whole Tanzhou knows that you are a rabbit. Your mother is worried that it will affect your brother's career and that it will cause your sister to be unable to get married. She can only abandon you. Wan Chichi kept talking nonsense, and her words were well-founded, and even Lu Yi believed her. Lu Hongba also believed it. He stood there in a daze, his face pale as if he had fallen into an ice cellar, and the coldness penetrated his bones. Besides, if your mother really cared about you, why would she push you out and lock you up in the farm? Those people were originally going to arrest your sister, and you were just taking the blame for your sister. Your mother felt sorry for your sister's miscarriage, but why didn't she feel sorry for you for losing so much blood? Alas, even though I am an outsider, I cannot bear to see this. Your family is really strange. You treat a scabby daughter as a treasure, but treat your handsome son as a weed. Aren't you your mother's biological son? Wan Chichi said was heart-wrenching. Lu Hongba's heart was broken and blood was dripping. He recalled the unfair treatment he had received as a child. Whenever there was something delicious at home, his mother would give it to his older sister and brother first, and he was always the last one to eat. He wore all the clothes left over by his older brothers and sisters. He had never worn new clothes before he started working. He never cared about it before, but now these little things have become sharp knives, stabbing into his heart. It hurts so much. Could it be that he is really not his mother's biological son? It's strange. Your brother and sister are so ugly, but you are pretty. Are you really picked up? That explains it. No wonder you don't feel sorry for Lu Chunchao. Wan Chichi's voice rang out again. Then it was Lu Ye's voice. I remember now. My father and Lin Manyan seem to have mentioned that Lu Chunchao brought home a boy. If you calculate the time, he is exactly your age. That's right. Otherwise, what kind of mother would let her son take the blame for her daughter and even take her son's job away and give it to her? Lu Yi, you are such a vicious sister. You took advantage of your son and coaxed him with good food and drinks. Even if you sold him, he still wanted her to count the money. You are so vicious. That's normal. She once poisoned me because she was afraid that I would eat too much of her food. How could she be so evil? Her husband must be no good either. Otherwise, how could he give birth to a daughter as vicious as Lu Hongling? I have to find out what evidence they have and write a letter to report them. Then I can not only vent my anger for you, but also make a contribution. That's great. I can get promoted again. The two people's voices gradually faded away, but Lu Hongba heard them both, and he heard them especially clearly. He was originally in a state of despair, but suddenly his eyes lit up and he realized that he had a way to get out. Since Lu Chunchao is unkind, don't blame him for being unjust. Anyway, they are not his biological parents, and he has not had a good life in the Lu family over the years. He also took such a big blame for Lu Hongling. It's time for him to plan for himself. The third update is finished. Lu Chuancao's family will soon be finished. Good night. Leader, I want to report that my mother Lu Chunchao stole state property, embezzled and accepted bribes, and my father Lu Jiaxing used a female comrade. Lu Hongba ran to find the leader who was guarding him, ready to kill his own relative for the sake of justice. When the leader heard so many charges, he did not dare to underestimate it and reported it to the farm leader. Soon, someone took Lu Hongba away. Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi did not leave the farm and saw everything from beginning to end. Unexpectedly, the incident in Lu Chuancao's family was bigger than she thought. No wonder Lu Hongling and her brother were so bad. They were bad at heart, and no good people could come from them. Lu Hongba's report was quickly fed back to Shi Jinghong. Shi Jinghong has been in a bad mood recently. The treasures he had accumulated for several years were gone, and the fatal little notebook was also not found. His beloved son became stupid. This was the only child in his family. He has been having bad luck recently, as if there is a hand behind him bringing bad luck to him, and everything is going wrong. When he learned that Lu Hongba was going to report his parents, Shi Jinghong suddenly perked up. Let's see if he can't kill Lu Chuancao's family this time. Lu Disheng treasures his eldest daughter the most. Humph, this old man must be mad at me. Was full of energy, interrogated Lu Hongba all night, and got a lot of dirty information about Lu Chuancao's family. It turned out that two people could not sleep in the same bed together. Lu Chunchao and Lu Jiaxing were birds of a feather. Lu Jiaxing works in the security department of the winery. A few years ago, an extremely serious case occurred in the winery. A young female worker in the packaging workshop was working the night shift and was dragged into the woods in the factory area by hooligans and did something when she got off work. The female worker had already applied for wedding leave, and that day was her last day at work, but this incident happened. Her fiancé quickly broke off the engagement, and there were a lot of rumors in the factory, so the murderer could not be caught. Half a year later, the young female worker committed suicide. Until now, the murder has not been caught. If it weren't for Lu Hongba's report, who would have thought that Lu Jiaxing, who is usually honest and timid, would actually be like this? Also a peeping Tom in the winery who makes the female workers shudder. He often peeks in the toilet, but this man is very slippery and has never been caught. This peeping pervert is also Lu Jiaxing. Lu Chunchao is a warehouse keeper. She embezzles food and often steals grain from the warehouse to sell. She also relies on being the daughter of Lu Disheng to act arrogantly in the factory. Even the factory director has to give her face. She also spread the word that there was nothing she couldn't do in Tanzhou City as long as the money was in place. Under the banner of Lu Disheng, Lu Chunchao actually helped people do a lot of things and accepted a lot of money and property. Lu Hongba confessed everything without hiding anything. He now just wanted to redeem himself for his crime, leave the farm early and go back to work at the arsenal. Jing Hong, who had not slept all night, was not sleepy at all. He asked Lu Hongba to sign a pledge, and at daybreak, he led his men to the winery to arrest the people. Lu Jiaxing had not yet handed over his night shift, and Lu Chunchao was still sleeping. She had been running around the farm hospital these days and was exhausted. She was so tired that she was thin and slept so soundly that the knock on the door did not wake her up. Smashed. There was a cold light in Shi Jinghong's eyes. With a bang, the door was smashed open. The residents of the family building were terrified, but reluctant to give up watching the fun, so they stood far away and whispered to each other. What has Lu Chunchao done wrong? Isn't her father a high-ranking official? How dare someone come and arrest her? Maybe her father will fall from power. Impossible. I didn't hear any rumors. Maybe he has done something serious, and I can't protect him anymore. Lu Chunchao finally woke up. She put on some clothes casually and rushed out with her hair disheveled. Without even looking at the person at the door, she yelled, "Who is knocking on my door? Are you tired of living? I smashed it." Shi Jinghong snorted coldly, waved at his men and ordered, "Take this thief who stole the factory's property away." Two energetic young men strode over and grabbed Lu Chunchao, without saying a word. Lu Chunchao finally came to her senses and saw that it was Shi Jinghong. She was furious and said, "My father is Lu Disheng. How dare you arrest me? Who your father is has nothing to do with me. You have been undermining socialism and accepting bribes. Your crimes are heinous. I have the right to take you away." Shi Jinghong spoke with particular righteousness. Lu Chunchao jumped up and started cursing loudly, using a lot of dirty words. The two strong guys who were holding her couldn't stand it anymore and found a rag to cover her mouth. The onlookers were all dumbfounded, and then they felt gloating. Lu Chunchao was more domineering than the factory director. Many people had been bullied by her, but they did not dare to resist and could only swallow their anger. This sitch is finally in trouble. Thank God. Lu Chunchao was taken away without even changing her clothes. She was taken away in her pajamas. Shi Jinghong took people to the security department and arrested Lu Jiaxing as well. The director of the winery rushed over after hearing the news. He was Lu Disheng's former subordinate, a brainless man who managed the winery in a mess. He was also largely responsible for Lu Chuancao's tyranny in the factory. Director Lin, the murderer in the case 3 years ago, was Lu Jiaxing. He was also the peeping Tom in the winery. It was his own son Lu Hongba who reported him. "I'm going to take him back for a thorough investigation." Shi Jinghong finished speaking. The whole audience was in an uproar. Of the winery were all dumbfounded. They never expected that the unforgivable murderer was actually the seemingly good guy Lu Jiaxing. If Lu Hongba had not reported it, they would have suspected that it was a slander. "Lu Jiaxing, give me back my daughter." A shrill scream was heard, and then a white-haired old lady rushed over with a basket of vegetables, grabbed the vegetables in the basket, and threw them at Lu Jiaxing. "You are worse than a beast. Hong Hong called you Uncle Lu. How could you have the heart to do that to her? Are you still a human being? Give me back my Hong Hong." The old lady was smashing things and cursing, tears streaming down her face. She was the mother of the murdered female worker. After her daughter died, she and her husband never had a peaceful day. Every time they closed their eyes, they would see the scene of their daughter covered in blood. Hong Hong is such afraid of pain, but she used a fruit knife to cut her wrist. The cut was so deep and so much blood flowed. How painful it must have been for her daughter to die. After throwing all the vegetables, the angry old lady smashed the empty basket over. Lu Jiaxing wanted to dodge, but he was held down and couldn't move. He had to endure it. There were all kinds of vegetables on his head and body, and he looked miserable. "Kill that old jerk. Hit him. You son of a zitch, you old thing, worse than an animal, I'm going to kill you." Had come to watch the fun swarmed up and started punching and kicking Lu Jiaxing. The two guys who had been holding him also made room and hid far away. Lu Chunchao was so anxious that she kept crying. She wanted to save her husband. Although Lu Jiaxing had done bad things, he listened to her. Moreover, when she and her mother were going through the most difficult time and there was no rice in the house, it was Lu Jiaxing who brought a bag of sweet potatoes and saved their lives. So, even though Lu Jiaxing did that kind of thing, Lu Chunchao concealed it for him. "Behave yourself." The spirited young man holding her slapped her impatiently, and Lu Chunchao finally behaved herself. She glared at these people with resentment. Her father would definitely come to rescue her, and she would not let these people go when that time comes. The scene was in chaos, and the factory director didn't dare to intervene. He ran back to the office and called Lu Disheng, but the old leader had to step in to resolve the situation, as he couldn't do anything about it. Shi Jinghong put his hands behind his back, looked at the chaos in front of him with smugness, took out a lighter, lit a cigarette, and began to puff smoke leisurely. Someone whispered, "Director, should we stop them? It would be bad if someone died." "What's wrong with that? The people are angry. We serve the people, so we must put the people first and let them calm down first." Shi Jinghong exhaled a puff of smoke ring. He was not afraid of causing death at all. It would be better if someone was beaten to death. Anyway, it was the masses who beat him to death, and it had nothing to do with him. Shi Jinghong was the most advanced at that time. The shell lighter used by Lu Yi, a trophy ordinary lighters at that time. Wan Chi and Lu Yi rushed over. The scene was already in chaos. More and more people joined the fight, and it was probably difficult for Lu Jiaxing to walk out of the winery alive. Lu Chunqiao was so anxious that her eyes turned red. She just hoped that Lu Disheng would come quickly. Just now she saw the factory director running away. He must have gone to call her father. Lu Chunqiao secretly prayed that Lu Jiaxing could hold on a little longer until her father came. Ouch! Stop hitting me, I'm going to kill someone. Oh, Lu Jiaxing's screams continued, becoming weaker and weaker until they were almost inaudible. He was covered in blood and lying motionless on the ground. He was beaten so hard that he let out a faint whimper. I'll beat you to death, you old beast, and give me back my Hong Hong. Who beat the most fiercely was Hong Hong's mother. Although she was old and weak, it did not affect her revenge for her daughter at all. When she ran out of strength, she bit Lu Jiaxing's face with her teeth and bit off a piece of flesh.
Bah!
I'll bite you to death. Hong Hong's mother spat out the blood and flesh and laughed happily. Her tears mixed with blood stained her clothes. No one stopped her. Everyone knew how miserable Hong Hong's mother's life had been over the past 3 years. It was just a small loss, which was nothing compared to the pain of losing her daughter. Ouch! Stop biting me. It hurts so much. Lu Jiaxing's body was twitching in pain, and there were several holes on his face, all caused by Hong Hong's mother's bites. Wan Chi and Lu Yi did not come to join in the fun. They were waiting for Lu Disheng. Sure enough, Lu Disheng rushed over with a dark face. The factory director was unclear on the phone, only saying that Shi Jinghong came to arrest Lu Chunqiao and his wife. He thought Shi Jinghong was taking revenge, so he came angrily to support his daughter and son-in-law. But as soon as he arrived at the winery gate, he was stopped by someone. Lu Yi pulled his collar and easily stopped him. Let go. I'm going to save your elder sister. Lu Disheng struggled a few times but failed to break free, and he was so angry that he cursed. Shi Jinghong is doing her job impartially. Why are you making trouble? Are you trying to shield a criminal? Lu Yi sneered coldly, without loosening his hand.
What public interest do you have?
Shi Jinghong is just seeking revenge. What did your elder sister and her husband do wrong? Lu Disheng was extremely angry. He had always felt that Lu Chunqiao and his wife were honest and simple people. It was just that Lu Chunqiao had become a little arrogant in recent years, but he was still a good person by nature, and it was impossible for him to do anything criminal. I didn't use my brother-in-law, nor did I steal my sister's public property. Don't look at me with such a stupid look. This was reported by your precious grandson Lu Hongba himself. Lu Jiaxing used a female worker in the factory 3 years ago, causing an innocent female comrade to commit suicide. He was also a peeping Tom in the female restroom in the factory, causing great psychological trauma to all the female comrades in the factory, and the impact was extremely bad. Lu Yi spoke word by word, and seeing Lu Disheng's face becoming more and more ugly, he laughed sarcastically, feeling particularly happy. Dad, Lu Chunqiao used your name to get people to pay her to do things. She said that as long as the money was in place, there was nothing she couldn't do in Tanzhou City. Some people did things for your sake. Lu Chunqiao became more and more daring. Accepted bribes of up to 10,000 yuan, and as a warehouse keeper, she stole public grain and sold it, causing huge losses. This was also reported by Lu Hongba, and the evidence is irrefutable. Are you sure you want to continue to protect her? Wan Chi questioned one question after another. If this foolish old man continued to cover up for her, she would make Lu Yi break off the relationship with the old man. Lu Disheng's mind was in a mess now. He heard everything Lu Yi and Wan Chi said. The Lu Chunqiao and Lu Jiaxing in their mouths became very unfamiliar. They were not the daughter and son-in-law he knew at all. Lu Jiaxing, the honest and dull man who didn't even dare to speak loudly, was actually like these? His simple daughter accept a bribe of 10,000 yuan and steal public food?
How dare they?
It's all because of your influence. Lu Hongling relied on your influence to steal other people's credit. Lu Chunqiao relied on your influence to steal, rob, and accept bribes. Lu Jiaxing dared to use and rob, and Lu Hongba dared to abuse women. They all relied on your influence to be lawless, tyrannical, and bully the villagers. Lu Yi seemed to be able to see through his thoughts and completely tore through Lu Disheng's self-deceiving fig leaf, forcing him to face the cruel truth. Lu Disheng's back suddenly hunched and his face turned pale. From the factory, Lu Disheng gritted his teeth, clenched his fists, and strode in. Even if he was wrong, he had to end this mistake himself. Your father doesn't want to save people, does he? Wan Qiqi frowned, very dissatisfied with Lu Disheng. No, he's going to kill someone. Lu Yi knew his father very well. Lu Disheng always valued his reputation. He used to pretend to be deaf and dumb to deceive himself and others, but now that the fig leaf has been torn off, he can no longer pretend and must get rid of this source of trouble for the family with his own hands. Wan Qiqi understood. After all, Lu Disheng actually loves himself the most. Be it Lin Manyun or Lu Chunchao, he can pamper them as long as it does not affect his interests, but once it affects his vital interests, he will definitely not show mercy. When Lu Chunchao saw Lu Disheng striding towards her, she started to whine excitedly. She knew that her father would not ignore her. Shi Jinghong also saw it and showed a cunning smile, hoping that Lu Disheng would come out to save people so that he could report it to his superiors with a clear conscience. The crowd also stopped, feeling a little regretful. They had been too impulsive and forgot that Lu Chunchao had a father who was a high-ranking official. If Lu Disheng pursued the matter, they would be in trouble. Lu Disheng walked up to Lu Chunchao and looked at her with complicated eyes. Whoa! Lu Chunchao screamed excitedly. Why is her father still standing there? Quickly take the rag out of her mouth and go save her man.
Commander Lu, I'm sorry.
I received a report from your grandson Lu Hongba that your daughter Lu Chunchao stole public property and accepted bribes, and your son-in-law Lu Jiaxing used a female comrade. Both husband and wife committed heinous crimes. I have to deal with them impartially. Please forgive me, Commander Lu. Shi Jinghong walked over and spoke politely, but his eyes were full of provocation. He really wanted Lu Disheng to make a scene.
Pa.
A loud slap shocked everyone. Lu Chunchao looked at her father in disbelief. The burning pain on her face reminded her that the slap just now was not a dream. Her father really slapped her. Lu Disheng gritted his teeth and slapped her a few more times, each slap harder than the last. Lu Chuancao's face instantly swelled up like a pig's head. I told you to be low-key and work hard in the factory, but you ignored me and did whatever you wanted in my name. You made me lose face. Lu Disheng became more and more angry as the fight went on. He had always been confident when facing Shi Jinghong in the past, but only now, facing Shi Jinghong's provocation, he could only swallow his anger. It's all the fault of the rebellious girl. Shi Jinghong was also dumbfounded. He never expected that Lu Disheng, who was so protective of his son, would actually kill his own relatives for the sake of justice. Could it be that this old man just found out that Lu Chunchao is not his child? That's not right. Lu Chunchao looks quite similar to this old man. He can't be a jerk. Shi Jinghong's hair was about to go bald, and he couldn't understand why Lu Disheng suddenly stopped protecting his son. His plan to watch the show was thwarted. Darn, I'm so unlucky. I wasted such a good opportunity. Shi Jinghong cursed inwardly and wanted to stop Lu Disheng from beating him to death. He also wanted to dig out some dirty laundry about Lu Disheng from Lu Chuancao's mouth. Even if there wasn't any, he would create some artificially and ask Lu Chunchao to put his fingerprints on it. Snap! A pen fell to the ground. It fell out of Lu Disheng's pocket. He slapped his hand so hard that the pen was shaken out. Shi Jinghong subconsciously looked at the ground. Her pupils suddenly shrank, and rage surged in her heart. Darn you, Lu Disheng, you old jerk, it turns out you did it. Shi Jinghong has lost his mind. All his treasures, including his notebooks, were stolen by that evil old man Lu Disheng. He even put his beloved pen on his body to show off. This old man must be laughing at him. This is too much. An angry Shi Jinghong rushed forward and started wrestling with Lu Disheng. You jerk, I'm going to fight you. Give my things back, or don't blame me for being rude. Shi Jinghong, filled with anger, took 3 moves from Lu Disheng's hands and was then pinned to the ground. Although Lu Disheng is 60 years old, he can still easily deal with Shi Jinghong, who is in her 40s, with just one hand. What did I take from you? Keep your mouth shut, or I'll pour shoot on you. Lu Disheng was also very angry. Darn it, he even dared to scold his mother. He must be tired of living. Don't play dumb in front of me. Give me back all my stuff, or don't blame me for being rude. Do you want to give you a big slap in the face? My daughter and son-in-law committed a crime, and you handled it impartially. I would never say a word, but you actually threw dirty water on me, saying that I took your things. I, Lu Disheng, am upright and never took a penny from the people. Shi Jinghong, tell me, what did I take from you? Lu Disheng was so angry that he slapped Shi Jinghong, and Shi Jinghong immediately became obedient. You took my pen. Shi Jinghong blurted out and pointed at the pen on the ground. Bullshit, this pen was given to me by my daughter-in-law. Do you still have any shame? Lu Disheng was so angry that he slapped him again. Darn it. Don't play dumb, Lu Disheng. Just wait. I can't deal with you, but my third brother can definitely deal with you. Let's wait and see. Shi Jinghong's eyes were filled with resentment. The old man was pretending to be confused, but he was not so easy to fool. Those treasures and little notebooks must be in the hands of this old man. He can't solve this problem, so he has to ask his third brother for help. He must kill this old guy. Would I be afraid of your third brother? You should be thankful that this is a peaceful time, or I would have shot you to death. Lu Disheng slapped him a few more times. Darn it, he always used that jerk Shi Dahong to put pressure on him. He was already full of rage. After beating Shi Jinghong into a pig's head, Lu Disheng felt much better. He picked up the pen from the ground, blew away the dust, opened the pen cap to check the nib, and was relieved to see that there was no damage, and put it back in his pocket. This pen writes really smoothly. He got used to it after using it for a few days. He would be sad if it broke. Lu Disheng kicked Shi Jinghong hard again, and then said, My daughter and son-in-law have committed a crime. I will report it to the police and sentence them accordingly. Even if I get shot, I will never plead for mercy. Shaoli, go call the police and ask them to come and arrest him. Lu Disheng roared, and the orderly Shaoli quickly went to make a phone call.
Woo-woo.
Lu Chunchao was so anxious that tears came out of her eyes. She never expected that her father would actually let the police arrest her. Wasn't she his father's most beloved daughter? Lu Disheng didn't look at her, but stood there with a stern face. The scene was completely silent. Everyone was frightened by his murderous aura and didn't dare to breathe. Half an hour later, the head of the Public Security Bureau came over with his men. When he saw Lu Disheng, he saluted with a standard military salute. Lu Disheng returned the greeting and said sternly, My daughter and son-in-law have committed a crime. You must take them to the police station for a thorough investigation and deal with them strictly in accordance with the law. You must not give me face and bend the law for personal gain. Don't worry, old leader. I will try this case myself. The director assured that he used to be Lu Disheng's subordinate and was later transferred to the Public Security Department. Why do you intercept our case? I don't agree. Shi Jinghong limped over. He had to get Lu Chunchao. He would fabricate 10 charges against Lu Disheng and make Lu Chunchao sign and seal them. He would not kill this evil old man. Go away. Lu Disheng didn't even bother to look at her. He just punched her with his backhand. Shi Jinghong didn't even make a sound. She fell backwards and fainted. Take it away. Lu Disheng waved his hand at the director, and the other members of the Cutting Tail Society didn't dare to say a word. Even Shi Jinghong couldn't resist, so it was better for them not to get involved. Lu Disheng's fist could kill people. Lu Chunchao was taken away by the police. She kept turning back and calling out to Lu Disheng, but Lu Disheng didn't even look at her and always kept his back to her. Report, Lu Jiaxing is dead. A young police officer shouted. Lu Jiaxing was lying on the ground covered in blood, his face unrecognizable, and he was no longer breathing. Lu Disheng walked over, put his hand under Lu Jiaxing's nose, and found that he was indeed dead. The crowd was trembling with fear, fearing that Lu Disheng would pursue the matter. If they had known that Lu Jiaxing was so weak, they would have been gentler. Lu Jiaxing deserves what he got. Take him to the crematorium and burn him. Lu Disheng spoke. His voice was cold, as if he was talking to an unrelated stranger. The director didn't say anything. The law does not hold everyone responsible. There were dozens of people involved in the beating. How could they be arrested? Moreover, even if Lu Jiaxing is not beaten to death, he will be sentenced to death. It is the same death sooner or later. His death now saves the country a bullet, which can be considered a worthy death. Who was about to get into the car, suddenly felt her heart sink. She turned around suddenly and saw her husband's body being carried out by the police. Her eyes went dark and she fainted. The police took Lu Chunchao and Lu Jiaxing away. The Cut-Tail Society also carried Shi Jinghong away, and the crowds also dispersed, and the place suddenly became deserted. Lu Disheng sighed and prepared to return to the military region. Seeing Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi still guarding the gate, he glared at them unhappily, ignored them, and prepared to get in the car, but his collar was grabbed by his rebellious son again. The third update is finished. Lu Disheng is not that confused. A person who can reach a high position must have certain means. The author is not whitewashing him, but just wants to make human nature more complicated. Don't worry, Lu Yi will not forgive him and will not reconcile. The author hates forgiveness the most.
Good night, Dad. Everyone has to die.
Some people die, some are as light as a feather, some are heavier than Mount Tai. Lu Jiaxing's death is lighter than a feather. You don't have to feel too bad. You should think like this. One less scourge like Lu Jiaxing will die. His death is a contribution to society. Wan Qiqi came up to him and comforted him sincerely. That's right. Even if Lu Chunchao is sentenced to death, her death is as light as a feather. One less scourge like her is better off dead. Only by dying can the earth be cleared of all innocence. Lu Yi cooperated very well and spoke more sincerely, because that was what he thought, and he hoped that the court would sentence Lu Chunchao to death. Even if she is no longer your elder sister, she is still your elder sister. Lu Disheng's back teeth were almost broken, and his neck was strangled. Only then did he realize that his son was still grabbing his collar from behind. Let me go. Lu Disheng roared angrily. What a disrespectful person. Lu Yi let go with a chi sound without any warning. Lu Disheng lost his balance for a moment and fell backwards. There was nothing to support him, and he was about to fall when his collar was grabbed again, even tighter this time, making it difficult for him to breathe. Look, if I don't hold you, you will fall down. Don't try to be stubborn when you are old. Lu Yi was still making sarcastic remarks. Lu Disheng struggled to break free and glared at him fiercely. Also, I don't have a sister who steals public property. I will resolutely draw a line with bad elements like Lu Chunchao and Lu Jiaxing. Lu Yi sneered, showing his attitude. That's right. We must draw a clear line between ourselves and the bad elements. Dad, you may not know this, but Lu Hongling's boyfriend He Jianjun and his whole family are all bad elements who are hiding deep in our village. They have been hiding in our village for so many years, and no one has discovered them. Fortunately, the enemy will never succeed. We accidentally dug out the transmitter from their house, and they were completely exposed. Wan Qiqi immediately took over and told him about how He Jianjun's family members were labeled as bad elements. Lu Disheng's face changed drastically, and he asked cautiously, did they really dig out the radio machine? Don't dare to lie about this. You can call our commune to verify. The evidence is solid. The whole family has confessed their crimes. They also said that they received a mission to lurk in order to corrupt our internal forces. Think about it. He Jianjun is a handsome man. Why would he endure the disgust and date the lecherous Lu Hongling? He even got her pregnant. His intentions are very obvious. His ultimate target is you. Wan Qiqi lied half-truthfully, and Lu Disheng's face became more and more ugly, with cold sweat breaking out on his back. He actually has a grandson-in-law who is a bad guy. Although they are divorced, he still feels scared. If Shi Jinghong gets to know about this, he will definitely make a fuss about it. And Shi Dahong, that shameless person, will definitely report it to the general military region. I will investigate this matter. Lu Disheng left with a dark face. Wan Qiqi, this crazy girl, likes to exaggerate the facts when she speaks, so He has to verify it personally. If it is true, he must kill his own relatives for the sake of justice. Nothing is more important than the country, including his life. Your father will definitely break off the relationship with Lu Chuncha. Wan Chichi wiped her face. Darn it, the exhaust fumes from old man Lu's car sprayed all over her face. He's willing to do that? Lu didn't quite believe it after all. Lu Disheng cared so much about Lu Chunchao. No matter how reluctant you are, you have to give it up. Your father cares most about his career. Now Lu Chuancao's family will affect his career, so he will definitely give it up. Just wait, it will take at most a week. Wan Chichi's tone was very firm. With Lu Disheng for a long time, she found that this old man was not stupid at all, but was very shrewd in his career. Although Lu Chunchao and his gang used to bully others, steal property, and accept bribes, these were actually not a big deal and could not hurt Lu Disheng. But once it comes to something that endangers the country, Lu Disheng will definitely cut off his own arm. He will not leave such a big handle for his opponent. Moreover, Lu Disheng handled the matter of Lu Chunchao very skillfully just now. First to leave a good impression on the people, and then called the police to deal with it. He did not leave Lu Chunchao to Shi Jinghong for use. He did not pursue the matter even though Lu Jiaxing was beaten to death. The people's good impression of him was almost overflowing. Shi Jinghong came to intercept. Lu Disheng was also very decisive. Without saying a word, he knocked the man out directly without any hesitation and solved the problem perfectly. In today's incident, the old man was decisive and ruthless. Simple about those who can reach high positions. Moreover, in this chaotic period, the fact that Lu Disheng can remain safe and sound also shows that he is not a simple person. His apparent stupidity may be his protective color. Lu Yi looked thoughtful. With his wife's guidance, he figured out a lot of things and suddenly everything became clear. So, if Lin Mannion commits a crime, the old man will also sacrifice her? Certainly. Wan Chichi answered the question without hesitation. She quickly guessed what Lu Yi was thinking and asked, "Your stepmother didn't accept bribes, did she?" "No, she doesn't have the guts, and the old man has a high salary, so she has no shortage of money." Lu Yi shook his head. He had already checked it, but Lu Jiefeng's position as platoon leader was obtained through Lin Manyun's request. She also often went to Jiangqing to get backdoor treatment for her two sons. Wan Chichi shook her head. Your father would at most get angry, but he wouldn't make drastic changes. He would need someone like He Jianjun. For example, if there was a bad guy in Lin Manyun's family, your father would definitely divorce her without hesitation. I'll go check it out. Lu Yi showed a sly smile. He didn't believe that the family that could raise Lin Manyun would be innocent. There would always be some unclean things in a family, and even if he threw some dirty water on her, he couldn't kill the old woman Lin Manyun. Take some time to relax. Lu Chunchao and Lu Hongling are going to die soon. Your father must be feeling very sad. After all, he is over 60 years old. Let him calm down. Wan Chichi persuaded him to stop, saying that retaliation must be carried out step by step. If the impact was too great all at once, old man Lu's old heart might not be able to bear it. The old man will definitely save them and won't let them die. Lu Yi thought it was unlikely. Lu Jiaxing was already dead, and the old man would not let the mother and daughter die. Wan Chichi sneered. This is not up to your father. Shi Jinghong hates your father so much now, and she is blaming him for everything. Your father can't do anything, so he will definitely take revenge on Lu Chuancao's family. Just wait and see. In a month at most, Lu Chunchao and her daughter will die, and Lu Hongtao will have to retire, and he will definitely not be able to stay in the army. The pen just now was seen by Shi Jinghong, and the war between Lu and Shi has officially begun. Lu Chunchao and her daughter will become victims of this war. There may also be Lin Manyun and her two children. It depends on how powerful Shi Jinghong is. As long as his power is strong enough, he can bring Lu Disheng down. But your father will probably resign on his own initiative. This is called retreating to advance. Wan Chichi predicted Lu Disheng's next move. After all, Lu Chunchao had done a lot of things under his name which would have some impact. The old man saved Jia Zong's life. As long as he doesn't make a fatal mistake, he will definitely be able to keep his position. Liu Ye's tone was very certain. Jia Zong was the commander of the Jiangcheng military region. Liu Disheng had saved him, and the old man had also saved many lives. The old man was a good fighter and had good luck. He could often rescue people from a pile of dead bodies and saved many important people. Otherwise, with his ability, how could he become a commander? Jia Zong didn't move your father out of courtesy, and your father's voluntary resignation was also a courtesy. It was just a formality. Even if the position of commander of the Tanzhou military region is vacant, no one will come. Wan Qiqi analyzed the subsequent situation. The military strategy books she read in the mental hospital were not read in vain, and she was sure that she was right about the general direction. Qiqi, how come you are so smart? Liu Ye's eyes sparkled as he looked at her with admiration and respect, and he was not stingy with his praise. You are also very smart. The baby we will have in the future will definitely be extremely smart and unparalleled in the world. Wan Qiqi particularly enjoyed it. She loved hearing compliments. It was so comfortable to hear them. Of course.
Lui nodded vigorously.
He couldn't even imagine how cute and smart the baby he and Qiqi would have. It would definitely be very fun.
Anna.
The factory director called them and strode over. Uncle Lin, she is my cousin. She will come to your place in a few days to report to you. Liu Yi introduced his wife with a smile. Hello, Uncle Lin.
I'm Ruan Qiqi.
Wan Qiqi greeted him. It was obvious that Director Lin was a straightforward and uncouth man. He needed some talent to be a director. No wonder the winery was such a mess. Director Lin looked at her for a few times, smiled, and said, I just came to ask when you will start work. The Human Resources Department has come to ask me several times. Is it okay for you to start work at the end of the month? No problem. Wan Qiqi agreed readily. It was already the beginning of the month, and there was still more than half a month left until the end of the month, which was great. It's settled. You will go directly to Director Chao's office to report to work in the propaganda department. You will be promoted to a full-time employee in 2 months. Okay. Thank you, Uncle Lin, for your care. Wan Qiqi nodded. The position in the propaganda department is a prime opportunity. Director Lin is a very capable person and will really help when there is something to do. Don't be polite to me. I have to be frank with you. When you come to work for me, you must be serious and down to earth. You are not allowed to do anything crooked. Your elder sister is. Director Lin sighed. He never expected Liu Chunchao to be such a person. It hurt him so much. For the sake of his old leader's face, he arranged easy jobs for Liu Chunchao and his wife. Who would have thought that he was actually letting a rat into the granary and a pervert into the sentry post?
Duck him.
Uncle Lin, rest assured. Liu Chunchao and I are definitely not the same kind of people. I will never associate with bad elements like her. I will fight her every time I see her. I will fight to the end. Wan Qiqi expressed her clear attitude with full passion. Uncle Lin, it was my son Qiqi who broke 2 of Liu Chuancao's fingers. She is very good at hands-on work. Liu Yi spoke with great pride as he talked about his wife's achievements. No, it's just average. But if there's anything happening in the factory in the future, I will definitely go all out and take the lead. Please rest assured, Uncle Lin. Wan Qiqi puffed out his chest, spoke modestly, but his expression was very proud. Director Lin's mouth twitched, and his expression was a little hard to describe. He felt a little regretful. He had a premonition that after Wan Qiqi came to work in the factory, there would definitely be a level 12 typhoon, and the factory would no longer be peaceful. But he had already promised Liu Yi, and as a man, he should keep his word. I have a meeting to attend. Go back and comfort your old leader. He must be feeling bad. Director Lin's tone showed his genuine concern for Liu Disheng. I know. I'll go back and comfort him in a moment. Liu Yi agreed perfunctorily. Director Lin sighed lightly. The relationship between this father and son was still as bad as ever. He didn't try to persuade her and went to the meeting. Wan Qiqi asked curiously, Director Lin respects your father very much. Did your father save his life? Yes, he saved him more than once. Uncle Lin's family was in financial difficulty, so the old man often gave him money. Once, Uncle Lin's child got seriously ill and needed imported medicine, and it was the old man who gave him money. Lu Yi nodded and told the story of the past between Lu Disheng and Director Lin.
No wonder you are so devoted to him.
Your father is not fit to be a comrade in arms and leader, but not fit to be a husband and father. Yuan Shiqi concluded that as a leader and comrade in arms, Lu Disheng was absolutely qualified, but as a husband and father, he was seriously derelict in his duty. He should be single all his life and have a shooty marriage.
Lu 예순1회.
He would never let go of his hatred towards Lu Disheng in his entire life. He and the old man will never be able to coexist peacefully unless one of them dies.
Either the old man will die, or he will die.
He is still young, so the old man will definitely die first. When he goes to visit his old man's grave during Qingming festival, there will definitely be no noise. Lu Yi could rest until the end of the month. In addition to his honeymoon leave, he also had vacation time he had saved up in the past. As newlyweds, they were in love with each other. They spent every night at Yumen Pass in the spring breeze and stayed up until noon every day. 3 meals a day became 2, and sometimes even 1. After only living in the staff dormitory for a few days, Yuan Shiqi became a celebrity. Everyone in the staff dormitory knew that Deputy Battalion Commander Lu's new bride was a lazy woman. In the morning that he had to get up at noon and had to make do with breakfast and lunch. Sometimes he was too lazy to even cook this meal. Deputy Battalion Commander Lu had to run to the canteen to get the food, and then he had to bring it to the bed to serve the guests. Looking at the pretty girl, he was too lazy to even cook. Deputy Battalion Commander Lu went to the cafeteria to get food and had to carry it to the bed. It was like taking care of a paralyzed mother. Is Deputy Battalion Commander Lu so good-tempered? Isn't it said that he gets mad every day? That's right. He became a different person after getting married. He never had a seizure and listened to his cousin. If his cousin told him to pee, he wouldn't even fart. TSK, TSK, TSK. I really can't believe it. That one girl looks pretty good-tempered. How could she be so powerful? He's very ruthless. Not only does he not cook, he also doesn't do housework. Deputy Battalion Commander Lu always mops the floor and washes clothes. I was washing clothes in the bathroom the other day and saw Deputy Battalion Commander Lu washing the underwear for his cousin.
Oh my.
It's so embarrassing. Several women were basking in the sun downstairs and chatting animatedly. The male and female protagonists of the topic were Lu Yi and Yuan Shiqi. They talked about Yuan Shiqi unscrupulously, talking about Yuan Shiqi's laziness and Lu Yi's good temper. Although they were saying that Yuan Shiqi was lazy, their tone was full of envy and jealousy. It's like this when you first get married. When I first got married to my husband, he was very diligent and even brought water for washing my feet to my eyes. He was very attentive. After we had a child, he became a boss. Not to mention bringing water for washing my feet, I didn't even want him to pour out his saliva. A long-faced, 30-something military wife told her own experience with a smile. She thought Yuan Shiqi and Lu Yi were quite normal. They had just gotten married, so there was nothing strange about them being a little affectionate. Shuhua, your Captain Peng seems to have a good temper. He does nothing at home, right? Someone asked jokingly. You didn't even pick up the fallen soy sauce bottle. You're too lazy to grow hair. Wang Shuhua curled her lips, her tone full of disdain for her husband. Other military wives all started complaining about their husbands, saying they were lazy, had bad tempers, were busy with work, and had no time to take care of the family. All of their husbands had the same problems. Men work so hard outside, so it's only right for us women to share more of the burden at home. Otherwise, why do we say that men work outside and women work inside? The division of labor should be clear. A fair-skinned woman spoke. She spoke in a soft and slow voice. She was about 30 years old, with short hair, an oval face, and wore a light gray linen suit. She looked neat and tidy, but spoke very gently. Linen suit, Xianglian is very conscious. She is indeed a model military wife. Yuan Shiqi's awareness is not good enough. Even if they are newlyweds, they can't be so lazy. They don't even wash their underwear. It's too much. The military wife who was speaking was indignant. She was about the same age as Ji Xianglian, but she was prettier and dressed very fashionably. She wore a black and red plaid jacket with a light yellow cashmere turtleneck sweater underneath and the latest leather boots on her feet. Her name is Shang Lihua, and her husband is a company commander. But she is luckier than Wang Shuhua because her husband is over 36 years old and has 15 years of military service, which meets the requirements for joining the army. She joined the army last year and was named the most beautiful military wife as soon as she arrived. Xianglian is the best military wife. She takes care of everything at home and outside and manages everything in an orderly manner without the man having to worry about anything. Now, Wan Qiqi also has a nickname, the laziest military wife. They were talking freely and didn't notice that Lu Yi was not far away, holding food in his hands. He had just got it from a cafeteria. It was the braised pork with pork belly that Wan Qiqi liked and the fried duck from Zhejiang. He had eaten it in the cafeteria himself and brought it back for his wife. Zhejiang fried duck. A good side dish. As soon as he got downstairs, he heard these old ladies saying bad things about his wife. Humph. Lu Yi went upstairs quietly and served Wan Qiqi after she finished her meal. When it was lunchtime, he took the initiative to ask Wan Qiqi for her clothes to change into. He didn't take her underwear, only her coat. Lu Yi walked to Shang Lihua's house, where a family of 4 was having dinner. Her husband's surname was Zhou, and he had a bad temper. Deputy Battalion Commander Liu, would you like to eat something together? Zhou saw him. He warmly invited him to have dinner with him. I've finished eating. I'm coming to your house to do some laundry. My cousin just changed her clothes. I need to wash them for her. Lu Yi placed the wash basin on the ground, hooked the small stool of the kid next to him with his foot and sat down, then started rubbing the wash basin without caring about the lives of others. The child who lost his bench pouted and looked very aggrieved. Shang Lihua's face froze, and he had a bad feeling. Could it be that when he talked about Wan Qiqi today, this crazy man heard it? Deputy Battalion Commander Liu, what do you mean? Captain Zhou's face became forced, and he did not dare to get angry. After all, he was of a low rank. What he couldn't figure out even more was when he had offended this madman. Washing clothes, didn't you see? Lu Yi looked up and rolled his eyes, then continued to scrub the clothes. More and more white soap bubbles appeared, forming a white flower on his hands. Why don't you wash your clothes at home, but come to my house to wash them? What does "mzi" mean here? Captain Zhou was a native of Hunan province and had a strong local accent. He gritted his teeth and tried hard to suppress his anger. You can't see me washing my own clothes, so how can I set an example for you? Of course I have to go to your house to wash them. Captain Zhou, you should study hard, even while eating. Lu Yi grinned, ignored the couple, and started rubbing the clothes happily. What the heck is the point of me learning how to wash clothes? Deputy Battalion Commander Liu, although you are higher in rank than me, you can't bully others by taking advantage of your position. Please leave my house immediately. Zhou took a deep breath and secretly reminded himself not to take action. Because he couldn't beat this madman, the result of taking action would be making a fool of himself. But he was really angry. Why did they bully others like this? Zhou, who was so angry that he was about to explode, did not notice that his wife beside him was pale and something was wrong. Deputy Battalion Commander Liu, why don't you go to the washroom to wash your clothes? It's ridiculous to go to Captain Zhou's house to wash them. Yes, Captain Zhou's family is still having dinner. How can they eat if you do this? At the door, all on the same floor. They tried to persuade him in a gentle manner, but did not dare to speak too harshly for fear of angering this madman. They would not be able to win even if they attacked him as a group. Lu Yi rubbed his hands vigorously a few times, shook off the foam on his hands, wiped them on the floral apron on his body, stood up, and looked at Captain Zhou with a gloomy face. He said, Your cousin is very envious of my cousin because my cousin sleeps until noon every day and I wash his clothes. Your cousin said that you are too lazy to grow hair at home, and you don't even help the soy sauce bottle when it falls over. Except when you are diligent in bed, you are like a piece of wood at other times and can't even move it. Since your cousin is so resentful, I will show my comradeship and go to your house to demonstrate how to help your cousin wash clothes. Captain Zhou, have you learned it? I'm not envious, Lao Zhou. I didn't say those words. Zhang Lihua screamed in panic, her pretty face covered in sweat. She was so scared. She knew her husband's temper very well. If she lost face in front of so many people, he would definitely teach her a lesson, even hit her, and the beating would be very painful. I heard it with my own ears. It was 10:11 in the morning. Downstairs, you and Ji Xianglian, Wang Cuihua, and Lu Sanmei said it together. You all said that your men were too lazy to grow hair, and you wanted them to learn from me. I will go to other people's houses to demonstrate later. Today I will demonstrate how to wash clothes, tomorrow I will demonstrate how to empty the urinal, and the day after tomorrow I will demonstrate how to empty the foot washing water. Come one by one. I have plenty of time. Don't worry. Lu Yi was in a very stable mood, with a smile on his face, as he called out the names one by one. He didn't let any of those who said bad things about his Chi-Chi today go. Of the women whose names were called instantly turned pale, and they were angry and scared. It makes me angry that Lu Yi, a grown man, has a heart smaller than a woman's. He actually resorts to the trick of settling scores after the event. It's so insidious. They were even more afraid that Lu Yi would go crazy and anger her husband, and they would be in trouble at home. Deputy Battalion Commander Lu, I didn't say those words. I just said that men have a hard time outside, and we women should share more of the burden at home. Is what I said wrong? Ji Xianglian was also on this floor. As the best military wife, she would never allow anyone to damage her reputation. So, she bravely argued with Lu Yi. Sister Ji is right. It's the rule that men should work outside and women should work inside. It's a rule set by our ancestors. How can a man wash clothes for his guests? It's a mess. That's right, there is no such rule. I support Sister Ji. Those who were talking were all men. They all praised Ji Xianglian and felt that Lu Yi had brought shame to them men. She washes clothes for the guests, empties the urine pot, and fetches water for washing feet. Look at the flowered apron worn by Deputy Battalion Commander Lu. He looks just like a woman. She is a disgrace to men. What a loser. The other women who were named also spoke out in support of Ji Xianglian. They always followed Ji Xianglian's lead. Lu Yi sneered and said sarcastically, "Who says that men can't do housework when they are in charge of the outside world? People who say this are lazy. Your laziness is your business. My work for my cousin is my business. It's none of your business. You are all so idle. Why don't you go and open up wasteland and dig earth? There are so many wastelands in the military farm that no one is digging. I will introduce you to some." He said these words. His eyes were coldly fixed on Ji Xianglian and the other gossips. Ji Xianglian, just because others flatter you, do you really think you are a big shot? You work like a servant all day long, and you are still proud? You deserve to be an old lady before you are 30. In a few years, when Captain Su stands next to you, he will have to call you Mom. Unlike me, your cousin, you will be taken care of by me. Even if you are 80, you will still be a flower. You must be so jealous. Lu Yi had an epileptic seizure, and he didn't let any of these women go. Zhang Lihua, if you think your man is lazy and useless, why don't you just tell him directly? Why are you using my Chi-Chi as a cover? Captain Zhou, you have to look for the reason in yourself. Why is your cousin talking about you outside? He attacked everyone equally, including the men who spoke for Ji Xianglian, and his insults were particularly harsh. Ji Xianglian's face turned pale. All she had heard was praise and compliments. No one had ever said this about her. She was the most outstanding and capable military wife. This Lu Yi was too arrogant. Zhang Lihua regrets it very much now. She shouldn't have said those things outside because of jealousy towards Yuan Chi-Chi. That's right. She was jealous because her man had never washed her clothes. Even when they were newlyweds, Captain Zhou had never been so considerate. I'll show you how to empty the urinal tomorrow. Lu Yi picked up the basin and strode away, leaving behind a group of angry people. Snap! A crisp slap was heard, and half of Zhang Lihua's face was swollen, beaten by her man. Shang Lahua covered her face and cried. No one else tried to persuade her, and even Ji Xianglian, who had the best relationship with her, left. The Zhou family store dispersed, and sounds of cursing and crying were heard from other households. It was obvious that the women named by Lu Yi were all taught a lesson by the men in their families. Except Ji Xianglian. Because her husband was not at home, he was out on business. Lu Yi went to the bathroom to wash his clothes, hung them neatly on the balcony, and went home humming a song. The third update is finished. I will go out for a few days tomorrow to relax and get some sunshine. Don't worry, I have saved enough manuscripts. I will update 3 times a day at least. I love you guys. Good night. Who recruited you again? Wan Qiqi heard the noise coming from the second floor and guessed that it was probably caused by Lu Yi, but she didn't want to go downstairs and preferred to stay in bed. April in Tanzhou is still very cold, and the only thing that can defeat her curiosity is the warm bed. After teaching a few gossipers a lesson, what are we going to eat tonight? Lu Yi spoke lightly. He was more interested in dinner. Go catch a wild rabbit and eat it tonight. Wan Qiqi threw off the quilt and got out of bed. She couldn't eat in the cafeteria that night, so she had to at least cook a meal. Lu Yi's eyes lit up and he said enthusiastically, I'll catch 2. There are plenty of rabbits on the mountain, and he can catch them easily. Moreover, he recently got a new treasure just 2 days ago, so he can eat whatever he wants from now on. Get another pheasant and make chicken soup. Wan Qiqi advised that he had been consuming a lot of energy at night recently and needed to replenish his energy. New. Lu Yi had already run out, but not long after, he ran back and threw his floral apron casually, hanging it precisely on the wall. Wan Qiqi smiled and went to the bathroom to wash up. She had to go to the space to take a look. A while ago, she planted some apple seeds, dragon fruit seeds, durian seeds, etc., which were all fruits available in the space. She also planted some vegetable seeds to see how they were growing. She carried the wash basin and toiletries and went to the bathroom. There were several women washing clothes and dishes inside. When they saw her, everyone looked a little strange and greeted her reluctantly. Wan Qiqi didn't care and just washed herself. After she was done, she nodded slightly to the women and went back. Returning to the room, she drew the curtains, closed the doors and windows, and entered the space. She first went to the tea, salt, and moonlight shop, made herself a cup of milk tea, and drank it while slowly walking to the open space. This piece of vacant land is quite large. Wan Qiqi estimated that it is about 20,000 to 30,000 square meters. As it was planned to build a residential community, the property market was not good, so the land has been vacant and overgrown with weeds. These days, she took time to hoe the fields and transplanted a wintersweet tree. The Ganoderma lucidum and wild tea trees were also doing well and full of vitality, and the space was filled with the fragrance of wintersweet. The open space was too big, so she only hoed about 100 square meters, dug a hole, buried the seeds, watered them, and then inserted a label next to them. Otherwise, the seedlings would have grown almost the same, and she wouldn't have been able to tell them apart. Wan Qiqi took a look around and found that the fruits had sprouted small seedlings, which looked very exciting. She didn't know if tropical fruits such as dragon fruit and durian could be grown in the space, so she decided to give it a try. If they could be grown, she would be free in the future. The seedlings are also growing well. Wan Qiqi discovered that the plants she planted seemed to grow faster than those outside. At this rate, she will be able to eat the vegetables she planted in a month. As expected, she is a rare genius in a century, and she is always the best in everything she does. Wan Qiqi was very proud. She was just a little lazy, but other than that, she was excellent in everything. She took a deep sip, sucked in several pearls, and chewed them with satisfaction. After finishing the milk tea, she picked up the hoe and prepared to continue clearing the land. It would not work to plant all plants, so she planned to raise some chickens and ducks so that they could be free in the future. Wan Qiqi was hoeing. She suddenly discovered that there seemed to be an open space in front of her. She pushed aside the weeds that were as tall as her and walked over. Sure enough, it was an open space of about 100 square meters. There were many things planted there, including roses, azaleas, roses, etc. There were also many vegetable seedlings which were growing very well.
Who planted it?
Could it be that her sleepwalking also came with her? Wan Qiqi was a little uncertain. In her previous life, she had lived in a mental hospital for too long and suffered from sleepwalking. From time to time, she would wake up in the middle of the night and wander around the inpatient department like a ghost. And when she was sleepwalking, she was extremely strong, with adrenaline overflowing. The hospital surveillance camera captured her wearing pajamas, barefoot, and climbing up from the 4th floor balcony to the 15th floor with her bare hands. The wind was particularly strong that night. She was wearing white pajamas and had disheveled hair. Like Spider-Man, she climbed up lightly along the air conditioner unit and balcony. Moreover, she did not crawl vertically but horizontally, knocking on the windows one by one, waking up all the patients in the ward. Then they saw a female ghost in white clothes and long hair outside the window, and they all fainted from fright. Since then, iron windows have been welded to the room where Wan Qiqi lived. The hospital used the strongest material, the kind that even Iron Man couldn't open. But she still couldn't resist sleepwalking and continued to be Spider-Man, bullying the doctors and patients in the inpatient department. Wan Qiqi frowned and stared seriously at the vibrant vegetable field. After studying it for 3 minutes, she was sure that she didn't plant them. Because she has a good habit, the distance between each pit is an odd number, and definitely not an even number. Odd numbers are yang, and even numbers are yin. She is a woman of the yin element, so naturally she has to have an odd number to balance the yin and yang. She estimated visually that the distances between several of the pits were even numbers, so it was definitely impossible that they were planted by her.
So who is it?
Could it be that Lord Yen has a crush on her and is taking care of her in secret? As Wan Qiqi was thinking, she heard the angry voice of Lord Yen in the air. Wan Qiqi, if you keep thinking about these nonsense, I will take back the soul resurrection pill. Of Hell, who had been gentle and polite for thousands of years, finally lost his temper and threatened Wan Qiqi with gritted teeth. He had blocked this crazy woman for a long time. Today, he came up to see her for the first time and heard her rebellious thoughts. He was so scared that he almost lost thousands of years of cultivation. Take it if you want. If you do, I will die right now and go to heck to trouble you. Wan Qiqi was not afraid of this threat, but instead threatened King Yen. In the air, and then there was no sound. Wan Qiqi called out a few times, but got no response. It was obvious that the Lord of Hell had escaped again. All men are like this, ruthless, when it comes to pulling out their sticks. Wan Qiqi snorted and said something ruthless again. Fortunately, Lord Yen had already returned to the underworld and didn't hear it. Otherwise, he would have been so angry that he would have died. Wan Qiqi didn't dwell on this matter too much. She never wasted her time. After all, she was the owner of the space. It would be better if someone helped her grow the vegetables. When the vegetable patch grew, she would come to harvest the vegetables, just like QQ Farm. After working in the space for a while, Wan Qiqi was sweating and took a shower before coming out. Not long after, Louis came back with 2 fat rabbits and a pheasant, all of which had been cleaned up. While Wan Qiqi was cooking dinner, he went to the bathroom, but as soon as he entered, he disappeared. Afterwards, Louis appeared in the vegetable field. It's growing well. Give it some water. Louis admired his own achievements and was very satisfied. He went out to get some water and then went back in to water the vegetables. After watering the vegetables, he went to build a chicken coop and a rabbit pen. He had just caught a nest of wild rabbits and pheasants in the mountains, and he brought them in. From now on, the chickens and rabbits would be free. This magical place was obtained by him a few days ago. There was a large open space with white fog blocking the boundary. He couldn't get through and didn't know what was behind the white fog. Louis was quite curious. Setting up the chicken coop and rabbit coop, Louis went to cut a few roses. Wan Qiqi also prepared dinner, a big pot of spicy rabbit meat, a pot of pheasant soup, and stir-fried vegetables, which were large in quantity and filling. Where did the flowers come from? Wan Qiqi was very surprised. The rose in Lu Ye's hand was very beautiful, with dewdrops on the petals. I picked them from the flower bed and put them in the vase.
Luye similet.
He planned to tell Chi-Chi about the vegetables after they were planted and give her a big surprise. Wan Chi-Chi served 2 large bowls of rice, and Lu Yi also arranged the flowers. He put a few beautiful roses in cans and placed them on the cabinet. The flowers come in 3 colors, red, pink, and yellow, and they bloom beautifully. Wan Chi-Chi glanced at it casually and suddenly felt a sense of familiarity. She had seen this flower before. The mysterious man, there are only these few roses in bloom, and they come in these 3 colors. Wan Chi-Chi couldn't help but laugh. The mysterious man turned out to be Lu Yi. Ji Xianglian really didn't expect that Lu Yi would be so crazy and lawless. He was a completely ignorant person who had no regard for human feelings or face at all. He accused her in front of so many people. This man was too bad. Deputy Battalion Commander Lu, I didn't say you were lazy. I just said that men have a hard time outside and women should share more housework. If you think what I said is wrong, you can criticize me, but you came to my house to make trouble. Isn't that a bit of bullying? Ji Xianglian questioned loudly, but her voice became more and more trembling. Under Lu Ye's cold gaze, her legs were shaking and her throat felt like something was blocked. At the end of her words, her tears flowed out. Captain Su held her behind him and said angrily, "What did my guest say wrong? Lu Yi, are you here to pick a fight on purpose?
Let's go and fight now.
I'll teach you how to be a man today." Your cousin is right to say this, but she said more than just this. You haven't figured out the situation yet. Why are you being so mean to my man? It's nothing special that you're just old and stupid. Lu Yi, get out of here. Wan Chi-Chi rushed over and stood in front of Lu Yi. Darn it, they actually teamed up to bully her man. They really don't take her, a crazy woman, seriously. Chi-Chi, this woman is too sinister. You should kill her. Lu Yi hid behind Wan Chi-Chi like the delicate Lin Daiyu, with a clear conscience. He was tall and strong, just like a big bear hiding behind his petite master, yelling at his master to avenge him. The huge contrast made everyone a little dumbfounded. Is this still the Lu Diangong, who fights without risking his life? Could it be that he was possessed by a fox? Don't be afraid, I'm here. Wan Chi-Chi turned her head and smiled, patted his hand soothingly, and then looked coldly at Ji Xianglian and his wife. At 10:11 in the morning, Yu, Shang Lehua, Lu Sanmei, Wang Suehua, and others were gossiping about me downstairs, saying that I was too lazy and that I let Lu Yi do all the housework. You even shamelessly asked Lu Yi to wash my underwear. Your tone was full of envy and jealousy, because the men in your families are not as considerate and capable as my Lu Yi. Behind her raised his head proudly, with a very proud expression, just like a big dog that had been praised by its owner, wagging its tail happily. The people nearby couldn't bear to watch it and even felt a little disgusted. It was so embarrassing for men. Wan Chi-Chi had already found out what happened in the morning. There were several ginkgo and camphor trees downstairs of the family building, and she knew everything clearly in 10 minutes. Moreover, she also knew that these gossips were all led by Ji Xianglian. This woman was the most insidious and cunning. She did a great job on the surface and everyone praised her, but in fact, every honor she had received was obtained by stepping on other military wives. For example, Yin Lia, who lived on the same floor as her, was a very refined Shanghai woman. Her husband was the regiment chief of staff and had joined the army 3 years ago. Yin Lia is not particularly beautiful, but she is good at dressing up and has a good temperament. She is an orthopedic surgeon in the military hospital and a very capable and independent female comrade. Ji Xianglian secretly led the women in the family building to isolate Yin Lia, saying that she looked down on rural people and that she was a petty bourgeois. Fortunately, Yin Lia came from a good family, otherwise she would have been killed by this old woman. She spoke of Yin Lia, the better her reputation in the family building became. Everyone praised her for being excellent and capable and a role model for military wives. As for Yin Lia, they said she was unkind, out of touch with the masses, and too self-centered. Fortunately, Yin Lia has always been a loner, so being isolated has no impact on her life. From Yin Ji Xianglian turned his attention to Ruan Qiqi, hoping to repeat his old trick and step on Ruan Qiqi to get to the top. But Ruan Qiqi is not Yin. She is narrow-minded and vindictive, and she will not care about other people's life or death when she takes revenge. We're just chatting and stating some facts. Comrade Ruan Qiqi, if you don't like to hear it, we won't talk about it again in the future. Ji Xianglian also wanted to guide public opinion, and the effect was quite good. Among the crowd watching the excitement, several men looked dissatisfied, thinking that Ruan Qiqi was indeed too lazy. It turns out that the atmosphere in the family housing complex is to worry about other people's affairs.
I've learned that.
Ruan Qiqi nodded, her expression still calm, but Ji Xianglian's heart sank, and she instinctively knew that nothing good would come out next. I want to learn this spirit of caring for others from all the sisters-in-law, and I'll start learning it today. Sister-in-law Ji, you and Shang Lehua are good sisters, and you often talk about other people's families, such as how Lu Sanmei is ugly, uneducated, unhygienic, greasy, and addicted, and how she screams louder than a pig at night, and the whole building can hear it. You also said that Wang Suihua was short-sighted, took advantage of others, and had dirty hands. Most of the things lost in the family building were taken by her children. You also said that Wang Suihua's 3 children were ugly and greedy, and they would definitely have no future when they grow up. Ruan Qiqi slowly named the names one by one. Lu Sanmei and Wang Suihua were Ji Xianglian's loyal lackeys, and those rumors were basically spread by them. These 2 people were also in the crowd, and their faces turned very ugly. Especially Wang Suihua, who stared at Ji Xianglian as if she wanted to eat her. I didn't say that, Ruan Qiqi. You are slandering me. Ji Xianglian was really panicked. She did say these words to Shang Lehua, but she did it behind people's backs. How could Ruan Qiqi know about it? How would I know if you didn't tell me? A few days ago, you and Shang Lehua were talking about it when you were washing clothes in the bathroom. There was no water on the 3rd floor. I went to the 2nd floor to get water and heard it. Ji Xianglian, if you don't want others to know, then don't do it. I just moved into the family building, and I don't know everyone. If I hadn't heard from you, would I know that Lu Sanmei likes to moan? Would I know that Wang Suihua is not clean? It is even more impossible for me to know that Wang Suihua's 3 children are ugly. Ruan Qiqi refuted clearly. Her words were coherent and well-reasoned. Everyone was skeptical at first, but when they saw Ji Xianglian's pale and panicked face, they couldn't help but believe it a little more. And Sister Lu, Ji Xianglian said that your husband is too incompetent and only became the battalion commander because of luck. She also said that you are tall but not smart, and you are the dumbest woman in the whole family building. Sister Lu, don't be angry. I am just conveying what she said. In fact, I think you are a good person. There's also a girl called Zhang Hohat. I don't know her, but Ji Xianglian said she's very flirtatious and always flirts with her Captain Su. I think that's too much.
Let's be honest.
With Captain Su's look, any woman with normal eyesight wouldn't flirt with him, right? Ruan Qiqi gave 2 more examples, both of which were the ginkgo downstairs and the melon she mentioned. They were real and reliable, and the quantity was large enough to fill you up. Maybe all ginkgo trees are gossipy. Like old ginkgo, they know all the gossips about the staff quarters. The family building where the heroine lives looks like this. I didn't say that. She's slandering me. Just as Ji Xianglian finished speaking, a slender figure rushed over. It was an angry, beautiful woman, Zhang Hohat. I flirted with your man? Darn it, my man is good-looking and strong, 100 times stronger than your man. Why would I want to charm your man? Zhang Hohat spoke in standard Trump accent. Although she was petite, she was very powerful. She pulled Ji Xianglian's hair and punched and kicked her. So you are Mrs. Zhang. You are much prettier than Ji Xianglian. She must be jealous of your beauty and deliberately threw dirty water on you. Ruan Qiqi is not afraid of adding fuel to the fire. She does not have the idea of peace being the most valuable. The crazy woman can only coexist peacefully with Shun Jingbing. The 3rd update is finished. There are many people like Ji Xianglian in real life. The author has suffered a lot. It is really hard to guard against, and it is difficult to read people's hearts, so I will write her very miserable. Good night. Duck you, I treat you as a friend. I gave you all the bacon that I couldn't bear to eat, and you threw dirty water on me behind my back. I'll kill you. Zhang Hohot is worthy of being the tyrant of Sichuan and Chongqing. She is as brave as any man. In just a few minutes, she beat Ji Xianglian so badly that her face was bruised and a lot of her hair was pulled out. Stop fighting, let's talk it over. Captain Su came to mediate the fight, but he did not dare to attack the female comrade, so he could only protect his wife and try to get rid of Zhang Hohot. But Zhang Hohot's firepower was too strong, so she beat him as well. Take a noi and look in the mirror. With your pointed face and monkey cheeks, how can you compare to my man? I'm going to vomit when I look at you, and you're still winking at you?
Pa.
Zhang Hohot hated the couple so much. Her clean reputation was ruined by these darn two people. I didn't say anything, Sister Hohot. Oh. Ji Xianglian cried and tried to defend herself, but Zhang Hohot didn't believe her at all. She pulled out a handful of her hair and left a shocking bloody handprint on Captain Su's face. That's right, Sister Zhang. You and your man are a perfect match. How could you throw away the white dragon horse and pick up a scabby treasure? Ji Xianglian is so sinister and vicious. It's obvious that she coveted your man, so she threw dirty water on you and called you an easy woman. But she has gained a good reputation for being virtuous and capable. All the women in the family building can't compare to her. Wan Qiqi shouted as if she was afraid that the world would not be in chaos and exposed Ji Xianglian's hypocritical face. Wang Tsuehua and Lu Sanmei, who were still hesitating whether to take action, changed their expressions drastically after hearing this. They suddenly understood what was going on. No wonder Ji Xianglian's reputation is getting better and better, while their reputation is getting worse and worse. It turns out that it's these women who are causing trouble. What's wrong with me moaning in bed? I'm moaning in my own bed and my own man. It's none of your business. Your own man is not good enough. He can't even last 3 minutes. You can't have enough and you don't allow others to have love with you. Lu Sanmei joined the battle angrily. Did I steal your man? You want to throw dirty water on me behind my back? My children are all very beautiful, but your child is ugly, uglier than a scabby baby, bah. Next came Wang Tsuehua, who cursed and beat him without mercy. The 3 women were not easy to deal with. Even Captain Su was beaten away by them. Ji Xianglian was pinned down and beaten by them. It was useless for her to cry and beg for mercy. Instead, they beat her even harder. Lu Danny was going downstairs. She suddenly had a stomachache and changed her route to go to the toilet. A kind-hearted person ran to the toilet to inform her. Although she had only defecated halfway, she still pulled up her pants, did not even wash her hands, and rushed over with murderous intent. Without saying a word, she rolled up her sleeves and started working. My man relies on real skills. He has sacrificed his life and shed his blood. He has survived many life-threatening situations. He is a real battalion commander. Ji Xianglian, your man is a flatterer. Everyone in the military knows this. You can't clean up your own ace, and you still talk about my mother's family affairs. I can't stop you from being killed. Lu Danny is indeed an old lady from northeast China, with strong fighting skills. With one big slap, Ji Xianglian turned around several times on the spot, then fell to the ground magnificently and could not get up again. It wasn't that she didn't want to climb, but Zhang Hohot and a few others rode up. The weight of 4 women, several hundred kilograms, was heavier than 3 mountains, and they almost crushed her to death. Sister Lu is so powerful. She is worthy of being a role model for us women. Sister Zhang, stand up and don't bring shame to the women of Sichuan and Chongqing. Wang Tsuehua, Ji Xianglian said your child is ugly and has no future. Can you tolerate this? You beat Ji Xianglian. Don't forget Zhang Lihua. She also said a lot. Wan Qiqi was jumping around happily, adding fuel to the fire. The anger of the 4 women had dissipated a little, but now it began to burn again. That's right, there's also Zhang Lihua. This sitch needs to be beaten too. Zhang Lihua was originally hiding in the crowd watching the fun, but after Wan Qiqi mentioned her, she slipped back home and hid. Sister Lu slapped Ji Xianglian so hard that she fainted, then walked towards Zhang Lihua's house with a fierce look on her face and murderous intent. Zhang Hohot and the other three followed closely behind her. Zhang Lihua's house was locked and the curtains were drawn, making it look like no one was home. This sitch was just wandering around the corridor. She must be hiding. Wang Xuehua knocked on the door and shouted, "Zhang Lihua, come out here. If you have the guts to say something bad about me, why don't you dare to come out?" I called for a long time, but there was no response. Impatient Lu Danny pulled her away, raised her foot, and kicked the door hard, and the door opened. Zhang Lihua was holding a little child in his arms, and there was an older child next to him, looking out the door in horror. "Don't be afraid, Annie has something to say to your mother. You guys go out and have fun." Lu Danny picked up the child with a smile on her face, took out a few fruit candies from her pocket, and stuffed them into the child's pocket. "Thank you, Auntie." The two children were no longer afraid, and happily went downstairs to play hand in hand. Zhou is not at home. He went out for something urgent in the afternoon, and has not returned yet. I didn't say that. Ji Xianglian said it all. "Don't hit me." Ah, there was a fight in the room. Zhang Lihua's fighting ability was far inferior to Ji Xianglian's. After a while, she was pinned to the ground and rubbed hard. Wan Qiqi stood at the door, watching the tragedy in the house calmly. The streetlights in the corridor emitted a dim light, casting a mixture of light and shadow on her face, making people in the corridor feel a little chilled. They really didn't expect that Wan Qiqi, who seemed soft and easy to talk to, was actually a cruel and ruthless crazy woman. When he gets crazier, he's even crazier than that crazy guy Lu Yi. It's true that two different people can sleep in the same bed. They were careless. Lu Yi didn't follow. He went downstairs to keep watch. Several people wanted to tip off the matter and ask the political commissar to handle it, but they were stopped by him. The political commissar works day and night. His hair has turned a lot white. Why are you asking him to do such a trivial matter? Are you deliberately trying to tire my stepfather to death? Lu Yu was particularly righteous and concerned about Mo Qiufeng's health. He was unprecedentedly filial. Deputy Battalion Commander Lu, if you fight so hard, something bad will happen. Someone mustered up the courage to try to persuade him. What could possibly happen? It's just a few women arguing. What's the big deal about a few hits? You let my stepfather deal with such a trivial matter. You guys are really good at finding work for him. Okay, go back now. Lu Yi simply characterized the fight as a quarrel between women and sent all the people who were going to look for Mo Qiufeng back to the staff quarters. Is allowed to leave this building tonight. Half an hour passed quietly. Home. Wan Qiqi's voice came from the second floor. Here it comes. Downstairs responded happily. Without taking the stairs, he jumped 3 meters high on the spot, climbed onto the balcony railing, then flexibly flipped sideways and jumped in front of Wan Qiqi. Don't go upstairs like this again. Wan Qiqi's tone was very dissatisfied. Everyone around nodded secretly. Yes, this is too dangerous. The clothes are all dirty. What a waste of soap. Wan Qiqi slapped him hard a few times, making loud bangs. Lu Yi smiled and let her slap him and promised, "Okay, I won't flip over again. We can't waste it, otherwise Ji Xianglian will complain behind our backs, making her look very frugal. We won't give her this chance." That's right, this woman is so insidious. She has said that she is the best among all the women in the building. The women in our building are all stepping stones for her to gain honor. Look at the women in the building, they all have a bad reputation, but she is perfect. She is an excellent teacher and a model military wife. How excellent and capable she is. The young couple chatted without caring about other people's lives, and their voices were so loud that the whole building could hear them, including Ji Xianglian, who was lying on the bed. She was beaten beyond recognition. Her hair was almost pulled out, her scalp was bleeding, and her body was in pain all over. After hearing these words, Ji Xianglian's eyes went dark and she fainted from anger again. The women in the family building all looked thoughtful. Wan Qiqi said was unpleasant to the ear, There was some truth in what she said. Why was Ji Xianglian the best and most capable? It was obvious that they were also very good and capable, and they were also qualified to be the model military wife. But ever since Ji Xianglian came, she was the one that got named every year. It turns out that they were all used by Ji Xianglian, darn. Everyone's anger was aroused at once. Yesterday, Ji Xianglian was a good sister that they all praised, but today she had become their sworn enemy. The next morning, Lu Yi and Ruan Qiqi were still lying in bed. Deputy Battalion Commander Lu, there's a call for you. Political Commissar, Mo wants to see you. Someone downstairs was shouting at the top of his lungs, and enthusiastic people upstairs even ran over and knocked on the door, making it bang loudly. Here it comes. Lu Yi got out of bed in anger, put on some clothes casually, and jumped down from the third floor without even bothering to walk up the stairs. He did not land directly on the ground. Instead, he jumped onto a tree first, and then jumped down from the tree. His body was so light, like the wind, that everyone was jealous. They also wanted to have such extraordinary skills, but Lu Yi was the only one as capable as him in the entire army. Otherwise, even though Lu Yi is such a crazy person and even his leaders don't give him face, the military district still wants to keep him just because of his skills. What's up? Lu Yi was very angry when he answered the phone. He was sleeping soundly with his wife in his arms and had planned to do some morning exercise, but was disrupted by the phone call. You and Qiqi came to my place. Captain Su and Captain Zhou came to me to complain. Mo Qiufeng was also very annoyed. He didn't want to deal with these trivial matters at all. His women would come to him to complain after fighting. They were all so bored. I'll tell Lu Dixing later to increase the training tasks and train him to death. An hour and a half later, Lu Yi and Ruan Qiqi arrived at Mo Qiufeng's office. Why so late? Mo Qiufeng asked with a smile. It's time to have breakfast. We can't come here on an empty stomach. Lu Yi said confidently. In fact, he also took other things such as morning exercise. What happened yesterday? Captain Su and Captain Zhou said that you two spread rumors in the family building and threw dirty water on their relatives, which led to their relatives being beaten. Is that true? It's not a rumor. Everything I said is true. I never lie. Ruan Qiqi recounted what happened yesterday in detail, focusing on Ji Xianglian's hypocrisy and insidiousness. How do you know so much? Don't tell me you heard it in the bathroom. This is a childish trick that can only fool a 3-year-old child. Mo Qiufeng restrained his smile, and his eyes became intriguing. He was an intelligence officer, and Ruan Qiqi's words had too many loopholes, so he couldn't be fooled. I told Qiqi about this. Lu Yi reacted quickly and took charge of it. Mo Qiufeng glanced at him and said with a half-smile, You can't possibly find out this kind of information. Xiao, don't play tricks in front of me. Qiqi, tell me, how did you know? He knew that Lu Yi had some special abilities, but it was absolutely impossible for this kid to have obtained this information. This guy is most impatient with all the messy things between women. Even if it is said to his face, he won't listen. How could he go out of his way to find out? Uncle Mo, don't worry about how I found out. I have the ability to do this. For example, I also know that you and Lu Yi's mother had an argument last night, and then you slept on the sofa. Ruan Qiqi told a story with a smile. She was on the way just now and chatted with Ginkgo Tree in front of Mo's house for a while and learned a lot of things. Yuan Huilan did not agree with Mo Tsongrong and Zhang Weihong being together. She felt that Zhang Weihong was too old and was a second marriage, so she was not worthy of Mo Tsongrong and she strongly opposed it. Mo Qiufeng neither opposed nor supported it. After talking with Mo Tsongrong, he only said one sentence. You are an adult. You have the right to make your own decision on marriage. I neither oppose nor support it. I just hope you won't regret it in the future. I won't regret it.
Montag Kongrong answert affirmatively.
He was sure that his choice was right. Mo Qiufeng stopped caring about him and advised Yuan Huilan not to care either. As a result, the couple started arguing and Yuan Huilan even drove him to sleep on the sofa in the living room. My mom actually forced you to sleep on the sofa? TSK, you two aren't that loving. You're not even as good as my dad. Lin Mannion didn't dare to scold him and would rather sleep on the sofa herself. Lu Yu was amazed and started to make sarcastic remarks. Mo Qiufeng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He and Yuan Huilan did have an argument last night, but how did Ruan Qiqi know about it? He was very sure that there could not have been any spies last night. He was very cautious in this regard. If there was any situation, he would not have been able to fail to discover it. Qiqi, do you have any special skills? Mo Qiufeng quickly figured out the reason. There are many talented people among the people. In ancient times, there were spies who were specially trained to use flying birds to gather information. Could it be that Ruan Qiqi also had this ability? Ruan Qiqi smiled mysteriously, neither admitting nor denying. Mo Qiufeng became more and more certain that this girl might be able to control birds. His eyes became fiery. It was a pity to have such a good intelligence talent buried at home as a housewife. He had to recommend Ruan Qiqi to his superiors and let her shine in a suitable position. Even if Ji Xianglian is wrong, you can still solve it in a gentler way. Don't make such a big fuss. It will have a bad impact. Mo Qiufeng tried to persuade her in a gentle voice. He was an experienced man and knew what kind of person Ji Xianglian was just by listening to Ruan Qiqi's description. Moreover, he had been dealing with Ruan Qiqi for a while and had some understanding of this girl. Although she was a little crazy, she would not go crazy for no reason. It must be that someone else had provoked her first, which caused her to go crazy. Gentle methods won't work. We need something drastic. Ruan Qiqi told the truth that it would be better to use powerful tricks to destroy the opponent in one go than to waste time on useless things. Okay, you guys go back. Come home for dinner when you have time.
Montag Qiufeng was sortiert.
Every time he talked to these two children, he was so tired that he couldn't continue the conversation at all. Uncle Mo, let me tell you something. Mo Tsongrong is going to be a live-in son-in-law. Ruan Qiqi felt a little embarrassed, which was rare. She had a great time yesterday, but ended up causing Mo Qiufeng to have to clean up the mess. In order to return the favor, she told him the latest gossip. You found out? Mo Qiufeng remained calm and composed. Zhang Weihong told me that she was inspired by me and thought that women could marry men, so she brought it up, and Mo Tsongrong agreed. In fact, 2 days ago, Zhang Weihong was a little hesitant and came to Ruan Qiqi to chat. As a result, she was brainwashed by Ruan Qiqi. When she went back, she made up her mind that she must let Mo Tsongrong come to her house, otherwise the marriage would not take place. Mo Qiufeng's heart twitched a few times. In fact, he was not that calm. After all, his son was going to marry a divorced woman who was 5 years older than him. These are not particularly important. What bothers him is that Zhang Weihong's father does not get along with him. He and Zhang Weihong's father Zhang Zigua had quarreled many times because of their different political views. Now his son is going to be a son-in-law. Mo Qiufeng can imagine how proud Zhang Zigua will be. It turns out that the children are here to collect debts. Uncle Mo, don't you want Mo Tsongrong to come to your house? I have a way. Ruan Qiqi was very good at observing people's expressions, and she could tell at a glance that Mo Qiufeng was unhappy. What can you do? Mo Qiufeng was a little curious. He couldn't change his son's mind, so how could this girl do it? The solution won't work if I tell you about it. Anyway, I'll help you keep your son, and not let him become a live-in son-in-law. Uncle Mo, can you ask Lu Ye's mother to make 10 dumplings for Lu Yi, but with different fillings? Okay? Ruan Qiqi looked so confident that even the old fox Mo Qiufeng was fooled by her. Could it be that this girl really had a solution? Why not trust her? He really didn't want to be laughed at by that old man Zhang Zigua, even if Mo Tsongrong went to someone else's house. 10 dumplings is a bit too much. Can you order less? Mo Qiufeng returned to his treacherous nature and began to bargain. Don't miss a single meal. Lu Yi has a big appetite and must eat at least 200 dumplings in one meal. Uncle Mo, this is a good deal. I'm saving your son. Ruan Qiqi did not give in at all and put forward another condition, 200 dumplings per meal, which would be 2,000 dumplings for 10 meals, which would not tire Yuan Huilan to death. The reason why Yuan Huilan was asked to make dumplings was because when Lu Yi was a child at the Mo family, this woman made dumplings for him several times. Before each meal, Lu Yi and Emote Songrong would fight. Yuan Huilan would punish Lu Yi by making him stand outside without saying a word, and he didn't get to eat a single bite of the dumplings. Emote Songrong was particularly bad and deliberately ate dumplings in front of Lu Yi. Wan Qiqi just wanted to vent her man's anger, but she also wanted Huahua to be calm. This guy wanted to use Zhang Weihong's family background to go to the capital, but she stopped him from going. Emo Qiufeng didn't hesitate for too long and agreed. At worst, he and Huilan can make dumplings together. Uncle Emo, wait for my good news.
Goodbye.
Wan Qiqi waved with a smile and pulled Lu Yi away. At the door, they also saw Captain Su and Company Commander Zhou, with gloomy faces. When they saw them, they gritted their teeth in hatred, but did not dare to fight here. Your cousin is so stupid that Ji Xianglian used him as a pawn. Wan Qiqi lectured Captain Zhou in a condescending manner, and then said to Captain Su, your cousin is so sinister. Be careful that she will sell you out one day, and you are still counting money for her. After sowing discord, she held her head high and walked away with Lu Yi. As for how Emo Qiufeng talked to them, Wan Qiqi was not interested in knowing. Anyway, the two of them stopped making trouble afterwards, and the family building returned to peace. However, Ji Xianglian's reputation and popularity took a sharp turn for the worse, and she was isolated by all the women in the building. Even when she went to the toilet, she would be excluded. Ji Xianglian was in a hurry to pee, so they deliberately occupied the toilet and didn't give it to her. Ji Xianglian looked a bit old to begin with, and she had aged even faster due to the mental and physical exhaustion she had experienced recently. She really looked a bit like Captain Su's mother. Wan Qiqi's reputation in the family building also rose greatly. No one dared to say that she was lazy anymore, not even the crickets behind her back. However, no one wanted to play with Wan Qiqi. Her popularity in the family building was now isolated, just like Ji Xianglian's. She didn't care. After all, she was very picky about her friends, and she didn't like any of the women in the staff housing complex. That day, Wan Qiqi and Zhang Weihong made an appointment to go shopping in a department store. Zhang Weihong wanted to buy some cloth to make clothes, and she picked out a piece of navy blue material to make a coat. Isn't this color a bit old-fashioned? Only old ladies wear this color. Why don't you buy this one? Wan Qiqi pointed it out bluntly and suggested that she buy red and black plaid fabric. Although Zhang Weihong was not particularly pretty, her facial features were not ugly either. However, her hairstyle and clothes were too lame. The original 5 points of color were reduced by 3 points. Navy blue is a solid color. Zhang Weihong glanced at the red and black plaid fabric and refused without thinking, as she was more accustomed to calm colors. Whether you are stable or not depends on the person and has nothing to do with clothes. You are not old nor ugly, but if you dress old-fashioned all day long, that is not stable, that is old-fashioned. Wan Qiqi tried her best to persuade her. Zhang Weihong didn't like navy blue, but she always wore clothes of this color. She also vaguely revealed her lack of confidence in her appearance and felt that she was too ugly. This girl is quite contradictory. She wants to be beautiful, but she is afraid of being unstable. But this color is too frivolous. After all, I am a cadre. Zhang Weihong relaxed a little, but she was still unwilling to try bright colors, as if there was a shackle inside her heart that locked her up, trapping her in a space filled with only black, gray, and blue. She longed for the bright colors outside, but didn't dare to take that step, and she became a contradiction. Why do you think this color is frivolous? If it is an indecent color, why is it on the counter of a department store? These products are sold by the government, which means the government does not think it is a frivolous color. It is a color that women can wear. Wan Qiqi was very curious about the reason for Zhang Weihong's awkward personality. The reason why she could play with this girl was because she could see that Zhang Weihong had psychological problems. Although they were not as severe as deep well ice, she was also mentally unhealthy. But my mother said that girls should dress more modestly so that they will be liked by others. If they dress too frivolously, they will be looked down upon. Zhang Weihong spoke in a low voice and looked around, afraid that someone would hear her. It was obvious that her mother had a very high authority in her heart. Does your mother still care about what you wear? Wan Qiqi, was a little bit unbelievable. Zhang Weihong was already 31 years old and had been married and divorced. How could a mother still reach out so long? She likes to control me.
Zhang Weihong sighed softly.
She actually didn't like being controlled by her mother, but her mother was old and in poor health, so she could only compromise. Moreover, her mother was very good to her. She was able to divorce thanks to her mother's support. Otherwise, it would not have been so easy. Besides what you wear, what else does your mother care about you? Yuan Qiqi was a little curious. She wouldn't let me laugh or talk loudly. My mother said that girls shouldn't laugh or make noises because they seem too frivolous. Zhang Weihong spoke in a neither high nor low voice, neither fast nor slow, just as steady as she was. She never lost control of her emotions, which seemed very abnormal. Is your mother like this too? Yuan Qiqi frowned slightly. Zhang's mother was either a very controlling mother, or she had been hurt before, and this hurt was related to her clothing and appearance, or maybe both. Yes, she never wears colors other than black, blue, or gray, and she never laughs or makes noises. She is very steady. Zhang Weihong nodded, and her tone was respectful when she talked about her mother. Yuan Qiqi stopped trying to persuade her. Zhang Weihong lived in the comfort zone she created for herself and was doing well. There was no need for her to pull her out. Emo Tsongrong is really willing to come to my house? After buying the clothes, the two went to eat, and Yuan Qiqi asked casually. Well, he agreed, and I plan to bring him to meet my parents next month. Zhang Weihong was very satisfied with Emo Tsongrong. He was young, handsome, had a good family background and ability.